still pretty incredible. GS are able to get here. But a fantastic game from Alpha 7, I'd say. Playing slowly from that northwest side. VP were taken down a little bit earlier, but RA still have profited massively of this game. Immediate shot from Revo over towards Pusher. Kulika straight down. And more nades been sent over the top. That nade was so on target as well. Very unfortunate, doesn't take down Flip. Luckily, there's another angle from the side, from Obscure. This is a fantastic hold from Alpha 7. You love to see it.
I mean, they're playing with the barest of scraps, but they are making one hell of a broth right now. They'll add the chicken to it in a bit. That's what they hope anyway. GS moving on up through DRS as well, and it looks like there's no retribution just yet. The hot through again, not working with the DBS, but it is going to be the drop down, turn the corner. It's going to work out. Jafar, though, we've seen him anchor these positions before for GS. Last man standing. He did it against APG. Can he do it again here? A long range shot. Real hopeful with the DBS on that one, but puts him back behind the corner, and Arena are going to be a third party to it. Jafar still, though, moving up to the top rope. Looking to try and drop the elbow, but maybe overexposed now as teams across the way. They'll get his sightlines. That woolly hat looks mighty tasty as a point, but he's got more to say.
ओजी ने 19 पॉइंट कर लिए भाई. अगर यहाँ से चिकन मारते तो 29 पॉइंट हो जाएंगे. अरे भाई 39 पॉइंट मार सकता हूँ. डायरेक्ट उतरा नहीं उतार पाए. ओ उतार दिया उसको.
Like a snake, but it's not enough as Obscure will grab the snake by the neck and take it out the back. Very, very well done.
Goodness me. Arena, okay, hang on a minute. Managed to make their breakout here after getting rid of Wolves. They have got that little ridge line to move up towards. They're going to work it out. Prestige last to stand for RA. Takes a lot of damage. I imagine that this is going to be done and dusted, but he finds a nade. Will fall though to Mormon's answer.
भाई ये नहीं क्या पोजीशन निकाल के रखे भाई. A7 ने क्या पोजीशन ले रखी है भाई. नाइस गेम है, नाइस गेम. अपनी टीम भाई अच्छी पोजीशन पे पहुंच सकती है भाई. इस बार भी #4 आई है. इस बार 3 बंदे बचे हैं भाई. इस बार 3 बंदे बचे. इस बार चिकन है भाई. इस बार चिकन है अपना. इस बार चिकन अपना है भाई. इस बार चिकन अपना है.
Previous game hiding in the water. This game hiding on the south side. There's been some points here and there, but like I said, it's not saying it seemed too phenomenal.
इस बार चिकन है.
I respect they're making it far into a lot of these games, but again, it's hard to say. I mean, this play style does technically work. If they're able to pull this off at an international level, there's nowhere where I can say that hiding will only get you so far for so long. It's like they're already doing it at an international level, so you gotta give them praise for that. But
भाई ओजी अच्छा निकाल सकते हैं. गाइस जितने लोग भी देख रहे हो एक बार लाइक मार दो यार भाई को, ठीक है? भाई को लाइक कर दो, ठीक है? तो रोजी के 3 प्लेयर्स है बे.
Sent over towards them earlier. He said that OG are actually looking to adjust to be more focused towards Elims as time goes on. And once they
OG rush कर रही है, I think. एक गाड़ी घुमा रहा है. नेड को करके रखता है बे उसने.
Maybe not a high Elim focused team, just maybe more focused than they are now. So perhaps that's what we're going to see from them here.
नेड क्या एक ओ बहुत दूर है. थोड़ा सा उसके इधर कर बे. अरे रे नेट गलत कर रहा है मेरी जान. थोड़ा पास में नेट कर दे ब्रो. क्या ये 7 को यहाँ पे एलिमिनेट करेगा. अबे यहाँ पे थर्ड पार्टी हो गई. फटा. अरे रे फटेगा. अबे एक नॉक हो गया बे. फिनिशर्स लेने के चक्कर में गाड़ी घुमा रहा है. पीछे जा. विजगॉड पीछे जा भाई. रिवाइवल हो जाएगा. आई थिंक रिवाइवल हो जाएगा. भाई कितने नेड फेंक रहे भाई. भाई विजगॉड भी नॉक. विजगॉड तो पहले से नॉक है बे. फिर से नॉक हो गया. तुम दोनों आपस में भिड़ जाओ. हाँ ये नेट
siege, under threat here. The nades are still coming out from
नहीं
a turret there in the grass.
चल चल दो प्लेयर थे अभी अपने
Orangutan though in the meantime getting put through the mincer. Having a real tough time. Their backline's
नेड को किया उसने
the heel comes out, but Alpha 7 they're faltering a bit on their three-man push here. Not quite as effective as maybe they would have liked. They do
भाई कैसा लेटा है भाई बंदा
that is their
ओ
main
नाइस नाइस मिस गॉट
blank.
नाइस अरे नहीं
And that is not the way to do it. One knock found.
हील कर आतंकी भी हील कर
Necessary to take down Orangutan right here and now, but they're not going down without a fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is bad news. They absolutely need to keep 3 players up, otherwise this happens with E Arena. They immediately reposition. The reason they were taking the fights on towards that high ground is specifically so they could dominate over towards E Arena later on, but I think that initial knock has been...
अबे ओजी एलिमिनेट हो गई क्या
Alpha 7 has a strong chance to finish this one out strong, though.
ओजी एलिमिनेट हो गई
Sakura now remaining. Mormon getting that knock onto Carrillo made me worry, but there was an answer. Carrillo kind of missing that spray, but it's not going to matter. The numbers still firmly in the favor of the Brazilians now. As Rizal moves outside,
Nice,
takes some shots, but
फिर सेवन ने निकाला चिकन
from the
निकाला
side window, the lean out shows them the
बे
shot.
यार ओजी भी फिर एलिमिनेट हो गई
Alpha 7 put them to sleep.
It's just funny how that's the second game in a row we've had a drive-by be the ending moment.
दूसरा चिकन निकाल दिया बे इन्होंने
Very cool. I like that the players are all putting a little bit of pizzazz on the game, a little bit of panache here. I think that for Alpha 7,
भाई अल्फा 7 ने दूसरा चिकन निकाल दिया
he
भाई
makes a big mistake by not holding that off angle. It's the only thing stopping E Arena from pushing over towards that north side. So a little bit difficult. Anyway, we'll head back over to the desk with their breakdown of that previous game.
अल्फा 7 ने पता है पहला चिकन भी निकाला था और ये तीसरा चौथा चिकन निकाल लिया तीसरा चिकन भाई यार लाइक मार देना ठीक है जो भी दूसरा पर्सन देख रहा है लाइक कर दो भाई पहला पर्सन तो मैं ही देख रहा हूँ समझ रहे हो ना
Alpha 7 get the chicken dinner. Let's get it going right there. I mean, beautifully made by them. Oh my god, wrap that they had. They landed in the Pavka, right? They do the good old fast hug the zone, rotate to the hardship side twice, and it just works out perfectly for them. The Neptura, what do you think about Alpha 7 getting chicken dinner here and now?
It is very needed. It was needed right here, right now, win to make sure can do the best they can. They in that mindset to get on to the next 3 games.
चिकन हो सकता था भाई यार
They took APG strat that APG were trying to use on the beach, right? But this played it so much better. Played it together. Didn't have any docking happening because if I don't dock for that to happen, that's fine. And they just played it super compact, super opportunistic as well. I love what we saw from A7 here, Max.
For 7, playing passive early mid-game stage was great because they hold on to their resources, they keep everyone alive, and then they're just able to just pop off this around and get 17 eliminations, able to get the solo drive-by at the end, which right now seems to be like a meta. Seen it happening, Hodrix, a few times. It just works out.
13 elimination.
Solo drive-by with an S12K is massive, and here
8 elimination 8 4 12 13 14 15 16 17 और 27 तक हाँ कसम भाई 17 elimination है भाई
a lot of questions kind of going to be impactful. Is it going to be a good replacement for Mafioso and Squad? I got to say, as of right now, the answer to that question is a massive yes.
Man, I'm such a Mafioso fan. You know, when you have Obscure putting out crazy numbers like this, I mean, you gotta know it works, right? I was a little worried there for a second. Carrillo, I love the fact that Alpha 7 held back Carrillo, right?
Alpha 7 ने तोड़ डाला बे 17 eliminations भाई 8 तो ये अकेले इसने निकाल दिया क्या नाम है OBS Perth ने
and then Alpha 7 with the numbers get that chicken dinner. So it ends up working out for them. But I'm telling you what, Alpha 7, their rotates right here was what's got them that chicken dinner. So I was a little concerned with their performance so far. I think they were in 10th place, Max. They got to jump up big time after this one.
they're going to be in top 7 100% this time around. They have to be up in the position to qualify for the grand finals. Alpha 7, they bring in the heat. Bring in the slow passive rotate as we highlighted here. And just play it very slow, wrap around from bottom stall, but get into the beat area, take it away easily from Alpha 7. It's just APG, not Alpha 7. Alpha 7 take it away from APG and able to just position for themselves. Really good stuff as you go through replay of this game. But maybe having a little bit of a tough fight there, but still looking positive that there's still going to be another game coming. But at the replays, Nat, that fight between Xavier also happening, and then the Arena and R8 so messy, and I think that we need to see a change here from Xavier because all over the place. I didn't like it from all over the place.
I mean, the problem is, right, we've had clashes between Xavier and R8 here. Well, actually, Thunder Talk and then R8 here. Also, Wolves in the game. Actually, the common denominator is just unable to hold a good defense against teams at compound. So it's definitely something they need to step up in that regard if they want to survive. They've got the survivability, they've got the position, they've got the idea. It's backing that up with that close range strategy is going to be a problem.
And that was crazy there. House. I mean, you saw.
पूरा मैच का वार लग गया देखो. मैच चिकन हो सकता था बे. बंदों ने ट्राई किया भाई, बंदों ने ट्राई किया. बंदों ने अच्छा ट्राई किया.
And they do this twice, and it just works out perfectly for them, Max.
Yeah, it was such a good early rotate.
Alpha 7 ने zone prediction बहुत तगड़ी कर ली थी भाई.
Moving forward, during that time, looking at Orangutan dropping shelter, they did have a bit of a wider split games, but they're able later on in the game hold a really good position center, choose around. Arena
ओजी ने अच्छा जोन प्रेडिक्ट किया था, बट उनको पोजीशन अच्छी नहीं मिल पाई भाई.
Big fan of how they played out this game. Unfortunately, no win, but I feel like in another world that would have easily been an E-Arena win. There would have been no surprise in my mind. So E-Arena redeeming what we saw in the first round was a bit odd.
Yeah, I mean that's
main चीज है ये, ओजी पे नहीं आ पाया जोन.
So you're able to have some really nice angles for teams.
एंगल पे बहुत अच्छे एंगल पे लोग बैठे थे भाई.
EA were just able to have a full range of when it comes.
फिर भी ओजी अपनी 14 नंबर पे गाइस, 14 नंबर पे hashtag 4 आई है.
Man, look at these rankings though. Alpha 7 27
points भाई.
EA, you know, they get
27 points.
R10 as well. R8 Max. I'm gonna talk about this team in particular, right? Because we saw them third party DXA and Thunder Talk, right? At that warehouse. Their timing together, their synergy looks so rock solid, right? They do the push perfectly, and then all of a sudden we see Amori walk out of the warehouse, one and get taken out. How much do you think that is the team's results here?
It was terrible. I'm saying that worst fight we've seen so far. Right? You talk about Amori, that was the prime example. They are in a very good spot. They pushed timing of the fight was absolutely on the way. Congrats to your MVP of the game. Always surprised. Not real. Let's move on to that file, Ray. And they do it twice in a row. They almost give it
10% headshot, 65% body shot.
Those little mistakes in a PMGC have no place to be. You cannot do this at this level, unfortunately. Such a, if we keep seeing this issue time and time again, they could miss out on the top 7, so we need to see that fixed ASAP. But you know what? For now, it is.
ओजी है टॉप 5 में है भाई, टॉप 7 में है भाई ओजी अब. आरएट ने भाई 43 पॉइंट्स लेके अभी भी भाई 43 पॉइंट से अभी भी ऊपर है भाई.
But you know what, guys? We're going to be right back after this break.
ओजी ने 15 प्लेसमेंट पॉइंट्स लिए भाई, और आरएट ने भी 15 प्लेसमेंट पॉइंट लेके 28 एलिमिनेशन से भाई, 28 एलिमिनेशन से भाई उनके पास. यही फर्क है भाई. पूरे एग्रेसिव खेल रहे हैं भाई बंदे, इतना एग्रेशन भाई.
You know, it's right here. The reason I think we're being so hypercritical, right, is because that.
बाकी नीचे का ये का चांस है.
They had such a dominant
OG 24 पे और TT 25 26. अपनी ओजी ये तीनों को भी पीछे कर सकती है और #2 पे जा सकती है भाई, समझ रहे हो? चांस है भाई अगले 2 गेम में भाई, अगर इन्होंने अच्छे किल्स और अच्छी पोजीशन पॉइंट निकाले ना भाई, #2 तो इनका पक्का डेफिनेटली मेरे को लग रहा है इजी से फाइनल्स में आ जाएंगे, सेमीफाइनल। अभी तो चलो ऐड आ रहा है भाई, 2 मिनट में आएंगे वापस ये लोग, 2 मिनट में आएंगे, 2 मिनट में आएंगे ये लोग रिटर्न। ओह भाई आँख मेरी लाल हो गई, आज मैं चश्मा नहीं लेके आया। भाई जब बाल बड़े करो ना तो ऐसे ही कुछ दिन गंदे दिखते हैं। अब ये पूरा इधर से जाके पूरा इधर रहेगा। गाइस सेकंड पर्सन कौन है वे, जरा चैट में आएगा, कौन है बे सेकंड पर्सन? चैट में तो आओ, क्या कर रहे हो बताओ, चैट में तो आओ भाई। कभी मेरा था पर अब बेगाना है ये, दीवाना दीवाना समझे ना, ओ कभी चुप चुप रहे, कभी गाया ये करे, बिन पूछे तेरी तारीफें सुनाया ये करे, है कोई हकीकत तो या कोई फसाना है, कुछ जाने अगर तो इतना के ये तेरा दीवाना है रे मन मेरा, माने ना मन मेरा, तू ही जुनू है, तू ही सुकून है, दिल से बांधे दिल के धागे, ना 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 रे ना 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 रे, ला 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 ना 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 ना। 11 सेकंड रह गया। चलो भाई चौथा मैच। नहीं अभी ब्रेक हुआ है क्या?
I'm here with the men on a mission, none other than Revo from Alpha 7. A convincing win in match 3. But if we rewind a little bit on the first 2 matches, it wasn't up to the performance that we expected of Alpha 7. What was going on?
Vocês tiveram uma vitória bem convincente, né, agora no terceiro jogo, mas nos 2 primeiros jogos teve uma performance ali mais na média, um pouco mais abaixo. O que você tem a dizer sobre esse terceiro jogo agora? O que mudou para vocês?
Bom, eu acho que a gente começou um pouco devagar, entendendo como que estava funcionando o jogo, mas acho que isso é normal, depende, vai de time para time, e a gente entendeu agora como é que funciona o jogo e, claro, buscar mais vitórias e, se Deus quiser, ir para a final.
We started a little bit slower, but we are getting the feel of the game and all the tournament. So we played 3 matches, we feel great, and yeah, we're gonna be the champions.
I mean, it's happening. One of the other top teams, too, is starting slow. APG, I'm calling you out right now. But with the addition that you guys currently have made to the squad, right? You got Gizao, you got Obscure. What advantages does that roster give you?
Acho que... Pode ir. Acho que o Guizão e o Obscure traz uma agressividade diferente para o Alpha 7. Eles são muito bons, jogadores excelentes. O Obscure, mesmo sendo suporte, ele tem um frente absurdo. E, bom, acho que é isso. O Guizão também é excepcional e acho que é isso. Eles trazem uma agressividade muito diferente para o Alpha 7.
So yeah, they bring a lot of like aggressive play style to our team. And Obscure, he plays really well. He's the support, but he's like killing everyone. So yeah, we feel very good. The Gizon as well, really nice player, and we feel really comfortable.
Would you
क्या
say
बोलूं
that there's
भाई?
potential that Gizao could become a better player than you?
Eles já são.
They already are.
Ooh, okay, now going into the last 3 matches, what are the expectations? I know in Miramar, there's a chance that you might be able to have a hot drop.
So yeah, for the 3 maps right now, you're having the...
Bom, acho que sobre Miramar a gente não tem muita preocupação. Se a GS for cair lá, pode cair. Eu gosto de trocar tiro, então pode vir pra cima.
So yeah, we're gonna drop in Miramar, and JS can get to us. We're gonna shoot him back, and yeah, it's
I
gonna
like
be...
to fight.
I know you do. I know Max is currently just shaking his head saying no hot drops. Obrigado, mano. Boa sorte. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And back to you guys.
Hot drops. No, please, no. You just won the game, right? I mean, but hey, you know what? Didn't sound like they were gonna avoid it at all here at Max, man. What do you think about that?
Look, my analyst rate terrible. It's so bad. My viewers. I'm like, oh,
Do
you know what I'm... It is entertaining for sure, but you know, GS showed potential changing it up. We're going to Severny. I think it'll be playing path. They didn't drop this time around. Going up against definitely not a recommendation. 7, they drop El Pozo every single tournament, right? So this is their mission. And even if they want to go for their secondary drop, unlike Erangel, they don't have a safe secondary spot because they would be dropping Impala versus Wolves. So what do you do? Unfortunately, right now, for them, there's not too many good options, but GS, you've got to make a choice because as of right now, your 2 locations are hot drops, so you better be ready because you're going to have to take those fights right away on Miramar.
Yeah. You know, my question is this you, yes, you know, obviously avoid military, right?
Yes.
Now, we know that Severny is their secondary drop location, but, you know, military was still on that plane path, all right?
Yeah.
So if they go to the secondary drop and they get the circle, you think possibly convince them that, hey, you know what? Maybe this hot drop business isn't good for us. Like, what do you think?
I hope so. I really hope so. Again, I'm gonna go back to the point I made earlier is, you know, if it's not APG, then hot drop. If not, go for it. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. By the way, of course, we got to give a big shout out to the Infinix GT30 official gaming phone of PMGC 2025, engineered for precision, performance, and victory, empowering every gamer to be the one and outplay the rest on the global stage. So big shout out to them. That's how we get it done, guys. So, man, I'm telling you, we still got one more Erangel match here, right? I hope we just see good old-fashioned good play from GS and Alpha 7, but let's go ahead and see what happens in just a few minutes. But you know what? The recap. We are here, right? Let's go ahead and take a look here at this one here. R8, I'll tell you what, from the get-go, this squad has just been straight aggressive, Max.
Yeah, I mean, R8 really liking what they bring into the table here for PMGC so far. Actually, you know what? For a quick second during these replays, I like one thing. So many people play games from Erangel. Of course, are they always making it a full squad? No, it was KO people by Aru on the first Erangel. This last game in particular, Nipsha, Erangel survive as a 3-man very late to the game, actually. Compete. I think these were a little bit, unfortunately, off their game, not really super precise on top of the arena, but you know what? Orangutan definitely performing way better than I initially expected entering on this first day of PMGC.
Yeah, I really love the way that they're playing this. They're building their confidence with some really good top 3 finishes. They're gonna and get those elans later on, but for a team that has no global experience, you know, speak of, it is exactly the kind of play you want to see from them. Were those nades slightly off? Yes.
ओ भाई थनेल भाई ने तो इधर पड़ा के फोड़ डाले मां कसम
because it was a bad decision in the first place. It was not, oh, we got a little hesitant, oh, we were not so sure. No, they were just didn't get it right.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's happening every once in a while, but you know what? There's always time for redemption here, as we see Geek getting eliminated a little bit earlier on in that game, followed up by the again, a lot of these guys. They're like, we went out as like, hey guys, well, Black stronger. The next one, they're pretty comfortable in third position in the leaderboard.
Oh my.
Harsh on themselves. And then later on in that game, still feel like got too passive. They should have went a little bit more aggro on some of these fights to third party though. Especially they're fragging to on this roster. You've got Soulless, you've got Ketch, you've got Aaron. They are using their full potential here on these fights, and I feel like that's really hurting them so far in the rankings because they are, as of right now, in 16th position. Don't want to be there. That's not good.
No, not especially with how all these teams are playing. I mean, right?
Wow.
They started off as a little bit. Yeah, that's crazy. Mad Bulls next with 7. And that was actually a team I wanted to ask you about here, Max, because we saw them actually have a push onto Alpha. It was kind of like they were trying to commit, but they did that.
By the way, I just want to say I sent wow because it was like 7. That's what I was like, whoa, but no, that particular, I'm really happy about Jukes because this is an issue of commitment. Mad Bulls, you play passive edge and you stay out of nade range of Alpha, or you fully breach Alpha 7. No in between. Here they just send it slightly off the road. I think they were maybe things away from Alpha 7, which is, as you know, range for just pinpoint accurate grenades from Alpha 7, and they get instantly wiped out of the lobby. That is a big mistake coming out from
Big
Mad
Mike.
Bulls. Want to see them
Fix the network, Mike.
Even if it's a bad play, I don't care much. Just because otherwise, indecision, as we know, Nitra, is always the biggest enemy in a PC lobby like this.
Oh, absolutely. You've either got to go 0%, 100%, but 60%, 50% is always going to get you back lobby. It's time and time again we've seen this. So, yeah, Mad Bulls just need to make it and stick to it, and they'll do a lot better. We have seen a few really nice things from Mad Bulls, but they just haven't been able to get that consistency throughout the match. I feel like they've just been like a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too incisive, and it's like, but Mad Bulls are a really good team, and we know how they can really do. So I just want to like to see that confidence come from them a little bit more.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, Mad Bulls are currently sitting in 7th place, right? So that's at that cutoff. So they're not really in that hot seat so far, but they definitely need to start picking up things here, especially when you see a team like Alpha 7. So many. It's going to happen here, I think, consistently. You know, Neptura, when we see a team get a good position like this, at this stage, you know they're going to get double-digit eliminations and the chicken, right? Yeah. Now that we got one more Erangel left to go, okay? Which team in particular do you think you want to see a chicken dinner from right here and right now?
You know what? I'm going to say, DRX. I mean, that's a good point. I want to say OG, though, as well, because they've had 3 top 3 finishes. I'd like to see them actually win on a Ramble before a new map.
I think that's a good call, right? Because OG playing it very careful, I think, right? Very precise. They're just trying to end themselves into the late game. We got a little bit of a word from 7 that build their confidence here, right? And I think that by late game more often than not, that is doing that for the Max, man. So I like the strategy, but I do agree with you. I think that a chicken dinner for them right now, I mean, that'll boost their confidence up big time.
100%.
Did you guys see these average eliminations of 9 right now? Over 9 average eliminations. I think on Wrangle that was, if I'm not mistaken. Those are crazy numbers. If they can maintain that the entirety of top 7, easy. It's done.
100%. I love that for them. That's great.
Come on guys, ये मैच तो अपना चिकन है बे। 3 मैचेस हो गए, 4 4 5 6 चौथा 3 मैच और बचे गाइस। एक लास्ट रहेगा, उसके बाद 2 मीरा मार है, समझ रहे हो?
But 25 seconds away from this game. Final Orangle of the day. If your best map is Orangle, it's time to make it work in your favor. It's time to get those juicy points on board, because otherwise you're going into a completely different game. You might have a little bit of a tougher time to get those points on board. So it's now or never on the grassy pastures.
All right, let's get it going. We're going to see another hard shift like crazy game. Let's find out right now. John Blank, take it away.
चलो मैच स्टार्ट हो गया।
Thank you very much, Hot Jukes. Of course, we'll love to get stuck into yet another Erangel. We've got the 3rd and final of today. We'll see it again tomorrow, but for now, the last time around the green as we head on over in the skies. From North George over towards Lipovka this time, a little bit further north on the plain. Expect GS to be dropping out towards Severny, and again, no hot drop unless Alpha Gaming try and re-engage it. That would be quite a sight to see.
सियापा होने गया गाइस, सियापा चलो.
Now, hopefully we can see some of our teams start to step things up a little bit more. I think Alpha 7 had a very
मैच
strong
स्टार्ट हो गया.
from themselves. I mean, starting over towards Zaki, I don't like it, but it's working, so I can't complain too much.
अल्फा 7 कहाँ उतरा?
Back over towards
अरे
Severny.
इनका अलग ही अलग हॉट ड्रॉप है भाई.
APG gonna be taking the
क्या हो रहा है ये?
ball down towards the south side of the map. It is a bit of a journey for them.
Quite the way. If the circle favors them though, maybe it'll all be worth it. Could always pop down south. We know how much some of you guys at home love those military circles. APG may be wanting them as well. Or they could fall short on a vehicle hot drop near towards DRX out on that west side.
मेरे को लग रहा है अपने टीम की फाइट होने वाली है.
Over in Yasnaya, generally fairly separated right now. But no, we love those north circles here at the PMGC. We're going to continue that and continue to go north on the day.
Once again, GS benefiting from this northern shift on the circle. Zol currently getting chased down by Paragin. Likely going to lock him in position for quite some time here, but Paragin is going to send out. Look if he can find himself a weapon. Play from there. Doc's able to find himself a vehicle, but Zol's got to get in quick.
बैठ गया. Oh भाई.
APG gets to disappear.
Yeah, those close range little scraps. That was what we were worried about there. I thought it was going to be DRX, but no. Some danger on the off angle with DX Xavier. Both start with D and have an X in them, so, you know, fair enough that they got confused there. But either way, they will be able to regroup. They're going to be...
गाइस अपनी ओजी अभी भी हैशटैग 5 पे एड ही है. अभी भी 5 पे 24 पॉइंट के साथ.
Can't go too north on this, so they're gonna bide their time.
अपने को चाहिए गाइस चिकन इस बार, ठीक है? अपने को चाहिए इस बार चिकन.
Yes, Naya is a little bit more packed than I expected.
क्या वो चिकन निकाल पाएगी ओजी?
Both GK and E Arena playing this area of the map. There's been a few games now where Yasna has been absolutely empty. I think people are quite quick on the uptake here. R8 playing South George, still currently leading with 43 points, looking fantastic so far. Alpha 7 able to
अभी टीम्स तो सारी लूट करने में पड़ी है.
The slow start on the day with 36 points now in second place.
And then we saw a little sub card as NC2 is in for Joker out on E Arena. We'll see if that is a question of well, we'll wonder why that is. We're not entirely sure when we see those cards flash up, but that change has happened. It has come through. So we'll see how NC2 is able to fold into with the rest of the team. On a circle like this as well, it's going to be important to be dynamic and communicative within that team to be able to go and hold on that side that is going to be so controlled near Yasnaya is where E Arena are. So stopping teams rotating around and accessing that northern side freely is a team task. APG broke all the way south blank. Alpha are now in Sosnovka, so they did continue on the road.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by it. I mean, I was watching as it happened. It's definitely interesting they would take that approach to head all the way down. Roji, yeah, I mean, 5th place, pretty good so far, 24 points. They are currently in the top 7. They will be moving through the gauntlet with flying colors if they keep this up. I think that last game looked a little bit better for them. Overall, though, I think that from what I saw, like the nades were good, the utility was not bad. It's just a case of, I think they understand it as well, and this is where I'm coming from, is that from what we've heard, they understand.
भाई ओजी ने वो पोजीशन भाई फर्स्ट मैच से बना के रखी है, ठीक है? 4-5 4-5 वो चीज बेटर है भाई अपनी ओजी के लिए. ये मेरा मार निकल जाए, शेक 7 हो जाए भाई, बस मुझे वही चाहिए. मुझे तो लगता है लास्ट 2 मैच में एक मैच अपना चिकन आने वाला है, या तो ये रेंगल अपना चिकन आने वाला है. मेरे को ऐसा वाइब आ रहा है आज के दिन अपना चिकन आएगा ही आएगा.
still doing for orangutans, I mean, they're still in 5th place, so 24 points. That'll keep them ticking over nicely. Just need to keep up that pace. We'll see if that development towards that more elim focus is going to keep going well for them. If they can get that one further off the mark than it is. Gike on the northeast side. They have managed to move out of that east side of Yasnaya.
अरे
That's where they
माँ
dropped and they
फाइट
have
होने
moved
वाली है
over those
भाई
steep
फाइट
hills
उधर हो रही है मेरा गुब्बुब इधर हो
to
रहा
the
है
western side here.
लॉक्सी अकेला फंस गया अरे मान ले लॉक्सी गया
Making a move across the bridge instead, and Loxy gets clocked. There's no way he's getting away from this one. And Regnum Kaya again on a circle that should be fairly strong from them. I mean, if you think back to PMSL Europe, because we were broadcasting that, you guys maybe weren't watching, but they did like to move nice and early into this area. This was a bread and butter
भाई
circle for them.
भाई
Bread and butter
पोजीशन भाई
favorites.
क्या पोजीशन होल्ड करते भाई
Yeah, just a little bit. It is unfortunate to watch as it unfolds. For Regnum Kaya, though, there has been quite a few times in previous tournaments where they start a little bit cold on these games, and then slowly ramp things up as time goes on. I think they're a team of very, very good at adaptation. I think day 2 is likely where we'll see Regnum Kaya shine a little bit more brightly. They're a team that very, very clearly understands rotates and how things are going wrong. And I think they adapt to different regions very well. I think here, though, there is plenty of teams that are just sending it very quickly. And I think it's something that Regnum Kaya is not quite used to.
Yeah, it's something that they are going to be looking for. I just ran some quick numbers blank about 7th place. And a bit of napkin math tells me that if you're over about 110 points, it's going to be looking a lot better for you in terms of getting into that 7th place. So it's still quite a way to go. It's even towards the top, and there's a lot that can change, but doing
हारेट टॉप पे बैठी है भाई
3 days in that first day is always going to be good news.
हारेट इस बार पता है क्या करेगी हारेट ये 3 मैच एकदम
It is a very good start.
ट्रोल करके खेलने वाली है भाई
Already put a very
तो हारेट ने 2
significant
चिकन निकाल लिए
that
अरे
metric, not
अल्फा
least
ने
of which is, of course, R8, who are on board with a little bit of an underestimated team coming into this one, it seems, certainly with their performance in the first 3. The first 2, I think there was still maybe a question that they were performing strongly, but into this 3rd one that we saw from them before, I think they have started to really turn up the heat.
Yeah, I think for R8, it's certainly one of the cases where, you know, at 43 points right now, they're more than a third of the way there to securing a spot towards the gauntlet. Again, you've got to compensate for those bad games that you
फिलहाल तो जोन श्रिंक देखना पड़ेगा गाइस जोन किधर श्रिंक होता है उसी हिसाब से भी होगा अरे माँ यार फिर सेवर ने गया भाई
So I think for R8, if they can end the day around about 60 points, and they've still got 3 more matches to do that in.
भाई पिछला गेम भी पिछला जोन भी यार उधर ही श्रिंक हुआ था यार इस बार का भी उधर ही श्रिंक हो रहा है यार क्या है ये
on Erangel, but we've yet to see the performance on Miramar, so it could be that they get some great games there too.
Absolutely. It will be very interesting to see how this lobby takes on Miramar, a little bit more further apart from one another generally, a little bit longer range engagements on average. Obviously, there will be close range engagements as well, but the distance that sits between you and Miramar generally a little bit longer, so an adjustment needed to be made. E-Arena, with their substitute coming on in, leaving Mormon out to scout here, maybe will be severed on the rotate by Ulf, but at the moment I think it's just Ketch on that forward position, and I think E-Arena have spotted it as well. Mormon will definitely know about it, as we love to go to Zaverny, it seems, on these circles. The spray down over towards E-Arena, going to make that regroup harder, but they're going to do it nonetheless.
Man, I thought Ragnarok was going to hit a couple more there. It's not meant to be, sadly. GS still sitting strong on the northern side of the map, with Regnum Kaya underneath them, like you're saying. Strong central position to play in, but with only 3 players to do it with. This is the second time in a row that Regnum Kaya has suffered from being a man down.
Mad Lemon की Mad Lemon 18 पॉइंट कर लिए भाई Mad ने
Yeah, that's more players been lost.
एक किल निकाला है
Vehicle there, John. DXA down to 2.
19 हो गए भाई 2 पॉइंट निकाल लिए
Torn
उन्होंने
apart on the approach. It is very unfortunate. And DX Xavier not really having the impact that we expected of them. Coming into this tournament, I mean, these are a tournament favorite team, right? DX Xavier, I personally had them in one of my top 3.
अरे लेट के
I mean,
मारना
it's
था
not
ना.
That's an official thing that I've put anywhere. But they definitely were up in towards the top 3 in my estimation. Their record this year has been really fairly solid. I think that in general, coming off of winning
आरेट
this
भाई,
year from
आरेट
region
का
as well,
मेरे को लग रहा है टारगेट
their
ओजी है,
World
ठीक
Cup
है.
performance maybe not as illustrious, but generally a really highly performant team for a long time now, Blank. It is a bit disappointing that they haven't managed to find their feet so far, but as I've said before, there is still time to make this day work for them, right? Even on the 2 players here, it's going to be up to Miramar most likely.
नहीं, कारा के सिर्फ 4 पॉइंट है और यूएलएफ के सिर्फ 3 पॉइंट है. हाँ
I
कसम.
think for DX Xavier, they're a team that does very,
भाई
very well
बंदों ने
in a
क्या
position
क्या
where
बीत
they
रही होगी
control
बे.
the area. Like area denial is like one of their specialities. Right now, though, and I
भाई
think a lot of
स्प्लिट
teams
में
are
खेल रहे हैं
feeling
दो
this,
के.
is that it's very hard to push through these teams.
भाई अपनी
Sidelines
टीम
are
स्प्लिट में
everywhere.
खेल रही है,
Teams
क्या
are
है ये
very
टीम.
vigilant. They are on a swivel at the moment too. So if you're trying to push for a central position, it's likely you're going to get shot at. Like you can't just recklessly rotate through the circle anymore, like we just saw DXAV try to go. And because Mad Bulls or a team close by will just take shots and likely hit those shots as well. So yeah, I think for DXAvier, there needs to be a more patient approach to these Erangles tomorrow.
And maybe that will develop, I think.
इसको पड़ेगी. हाँ मुझे पता था इसको पड़ेगी. मुझे पता था इसको पड़ेगी.
Teams to be making it through towards the finals, sure. Top 7, of course, will be the easiest way to do it. But there is a little bit of leeway for them, right? They still have those group stages, those last chance stages potentially, if they're able to get through there. So not getting top 7 here isn't the end of the road, and maybe that's allowing teams to be slightly more flexible with it. Maybe not the best idea, but certainly is definitely possible there. That's a lot of affirmatives in one sentence. Kara on the north side having trouble with Alpha 7, who, again, with their backs to the coast, finding a good fight.
I think it's the second time that Kara has really struggled versus Alpha 7 trying to
किधर मार रहा है.
Again, this is kind of the opposite that we're seeing from DX Xavier, is that Alpha 7's rotates are quite staccato-like, where they'll rotate a little bit forward, they'll stop, they'll see if they can see any presence within the circle, take shots, hit those shots. And nothing they can do to weaken teams around them is very, very beneficial to them. And slowly but surely, they work their way in towards a strong spot. So I think here on Erangel, Alpha 7's been playing these last 2 games very strongly. I hope that it continues during this match as well, because I've been quite happy with what I've seen since that initial Rondo game, which although wasn't the best match from Alpha 7 in the world, they still got some good placement points off the back of it, so it's kept them in the running.
APG versus Kara.
Second place.
APG ने फॉल बैक कर लिया भाई, तो कारा ने फॉल बैक कर लिया भाई.
In the running at this stage to get towards those grand finals over in Bangkok, in the main city itself. Be lovely to see them there. I mean, for Alpha 7 as well, after coming off the back of PMWC, right? For Alpha 7, even qualifying for finals, this is a real.
OG ने अभी तक एक भी पॉइंट नहीं निकाला गाइस.
It is necessary for them to step back up to that level of some of the best teams in the world, because we know that they've got it in them. And we know that there are some real firecracker players in there. Some slight changes to the roster coming on through, obviously. Obscure with Rizal as well. These slightly newer entrants to the team. We'll see what they can pull out the bag here. On the northwest side, they do have a chance, but the circle doesn't help them out here. It's going to push them down to the southeast edge. Gives Geeke a pretty solid spot on that hill to the west of them. Going to be highly contested.
I think for Wolves, it's not a bad spot to play down towards.
क्या इस बार R8 को डाउन करेंगे ये लोग? मैं चाहता हूँ पूरी स्क्वाड वाइप कर दे विद गॉड R8 की.
Alpha 7 is an interesting talk you made about them not even qualifying for the PMWC. I think that they're a team that certainly struggles with this, which is if they don't have the hunger for the games, then they don't perform well. I think actually them not qualifying for the finals and PMWC was probably one of the better things that happened to them, because it lit the fire underneath them again. I think that they struggled that for a long time, always getting second places. But I think that those second places actually were the things that kept driving them forward a lot of times. So the few teams I've been like, oh, they just need a second
ओह
place. And
फाइट हो गई भी
We're rolling.
स्लैम डाल दिया इन्होंने
They've been fairly solid on their game so far. Prestige down though.
अबे विस्गॉट नॉक हो गया यार
To a 3 versus 3 actually, with the trade-off knock coming on through. Another flush over to Regnum Kai. We'll touch on that in a minute. But R8
अरे आतंकी यार
on the open against
भाई
Orangutan, and I7 wins out that edge. Will find another knock as well as he steps out into the courtyard, able to find a second player from Orangutan, and they are cut down to 1. Not going to be able to win out this fight. Unfortunately, DRX will pick up the pieces as well, and the nades are good. Everything else comes crumbling down around their ears, and R8 makes
भाई क्या किया यार तुमने
4 elims, and they are down to 3, but they've done the work already. 47 points and climbing.
see, I can understand like the mentality from orangutans. They need
भाई
more
नीचे अभी
points,
मैड है ठीक
they
है
want to get more eliminations. I can respect that as a limit test for the team, but it is a
ओ
horrible
यार
time.
ओजी यार क्या किया यार
You
तुमने
you need to look for that fight much earlier, where the pressure is on as the blue is about to close, when you got a minute out. So you got to pace the fight much. It's much more stressful for R8 where they got to pace the fight because they got to think about their future moves. But moving on to that position as the circle's pulling in creates this horrible situation for both teams, and I think it is one that's made so by Orangutan as opposed to R8.
the hell man क्या था भाई ये सीन क्या था
Takes down APG again, which is a bit of a prank, bit of an APG prank.
Yeah, 16th place for APG. Again, not what we expected coming into this one.
Can't count them out, okay?
They're
Trust me.
so done. It's over for them. We're never seeing them again.
You can't count them out.
I've done it. What are you going to do?
They're possibly one of the most annoying teams in the world when it comes to having no points. Because equally tomorrow they could have 70.
Oh, Alpha 7 really struggling on the roll-up. They've just been taken down by the Mad Bulls.
अल्फा 7 गई बढ़िया
Really not great
बट
stuff
नीचे
there.
की टीम्स भाई
Try
नीचे की
convert on
टीम्स
the
को कुछ ना हो
northwestern side, get a couple more
पे
points on
वीपी
board.
भी आ गई
Malloy,
भाई
similarly, now suffering, taken down by Malloy from Virtus Pro on that southern edge. Although Malloy doesn't look at the best of shape either, but the top of the table's blank. It's been really quite decimated right now. So a lot of teams with opportunities to jump up towards the top side.
Yeah. But Mad Bulls, I think it's the first time in a while that Mad Bulls hasn't been a bit of a cringe team name to utter. Because usually it's a team that in the past has some of the best players from the CIS region in it, doing fantastically well. They got poached multiple times, leaving only Zerich really is the star power on the squad, and even he started to fall off a little bit without the help from Effects if he is off angler. But I think that the rebuild from Mad Bulls is actually very good. Flip and Lemon work fantastically well in tandem with one another. Lemon has some of the best nades in CIS region. Flip is incredibly good. He's flipping good. And as well as Pusher and Tulika already have a lot of experience with one another anyway. I think they are an aggressive team, to be honest. But I think everyone's on the same page there on that squad, so I think that's fine.
You need to hold it out on the western side. DRX need to move forwards against Ulf and Mad Bulls towards their northern side. Malloy still that thorn in the paw of the DRX Lion. They'll have to handle it. I think you might just deny the point here at this stage. Look at the blue zone taking him down. The heal does pop through, but into stage 5, he does not have long to play this one. Maybe a backstab, maybe a little game changer on a fight. I don't think that Malloy is going to make it into the placements. That should be it. He will fall down. It is just a play zone point denial.
All right, Wolves going to try and make their way through. Thunder Talks as well as Geek playing on either side of the road there. Advantage goes to Geek being closer towards the circle. So Thunder Talks will have to push through them eventually or wrap. Even then, you need to take your shots there.
As we see the south side rotate, DRX, they managed to get rid of Virtus Pro. And they move over towards the Wolves, and a good knock on towards Coops in the backstop position as well. That's not going to be particularly flushable as Thundertalk try and cross the road, and Ulf try and cross the road, and Thundertalk deny them entry there and get a knock over towards Geek. This fight seems to be a little bit of a stalemate between these two teams, despite the number of nades and Molotovs being sent between the two positions. DRX have taken a lot of damage though. And they're going to have a real tough time rolling up. Doran for the spray down onto Soaz as he breaks on
नॉक
through. That crash
के दो
line is
नॉक
good, and it's going to be held.
DRX का
Goes
तीसरा
down
नॉक हो
low. Hyunbin
DRX का
follows.
तीसरा नॉक
Set up on the hillside needs to come up big now because
क्या बात है यार
the inside getting torn apart. Nobody's alive in the shack. The points are there for the taking, but nobody's ready to do it.
ऊपर भी एक उसका एक HP है कम ऑन मैन जाके पूरा 3 फिनिश ले यार
Things going, but Solus bombards the position time and time again, stopping the Wolves from flexing out, and it's going to allow the heal on the high ground.
Damn, well played, Eagles. Actually able to make it happen. Hold down the fort for the time being. Yeah, this is where life gets very difficult for Thundertalk, I was talking about earlier. You know, the circle being on Geek's side, it's just going to make their life so much easier now. For Thundertalks, even pushing far over towards the north, yeah, you can get behind that lip on the very northeast, but even then you have to deal with GS. So
मैड ने भाई 25 पॉइंट कर लिए भाई.
So now either they push north or they expend a lot of utility here in the next.
मैड ने 25 पॉइंट्स कर लिए भाई. मैड और ईओ का मैड और ईए को जाना चाहिए भाई. एलिमिनेट करो भाई चारों प्लेयर्स को, 8 प्लेयर्स को. टीटी को ही करना पड़ेगा भाई. अभी अपने वो ये 25 पॉइंट 25 स्टेप 5 पे रह पाएगा.
Trying to keep those building high ground positions under control, maybe an off angle as they roll up towards
GS आ गई है.
One of the last players, I think the last player in fact for DX Xavier. He's going to try and fend them off, but posting a nade through will do the trick.
Oh, nice.
Just need to land it on the mark.
GS.
That one does though.
GS ने
He's not
निकाला
the
भाई.
last player for DX Xavier. It's actually Levi's off across the road. You can see there on the minimap, but yeah, it's not going to be. It's not going to be able to get that one back up. And GS move in to the shack position on the north.
I think if you're Wolves right now, yeah, they're doing it at this very moment. They're going to try and push over towards Mad Bulls as well as EA. This fight has been raging on for quite a while. Unfortunately for them,
भाई वोल क्या बची है बे.
as our E Arena, but I would say that E Arena is now in one of the worst positions in the world.
खिलाड़ी छोड़ के आ गए बे.
Between both Mad Bulls and Wolves, Egos goes down, so despite his valiant defense down on the southeast side, he will not regroup with the rest of the team.
डैमेज हुआ.
Find it difficult.
कार फटी.
Finding it difficult to stay on his feet as the nades pour in from the high ground for Mad Bulls. The pressure on.
पुश डाल दिया.
And they march ever forward, seemingly inexorably, but there's teams.
भाई मैट क्या खेल रहा है?
NC2, no substitution play for him. Unfortunate as they meet their demise. Wolves trying to move up on the lip of the bunker, but he's backed off from the off angle as the spray down is good. Mad Bulls making their way closer and closer. The last player from DX Xavier, Levi's not getting stuck into that one. Doesn't want to give the game away just yet. Let Thundertalk go for the crossing first and try and ladder up on the placements because Geek have to hold.
ये नीचे के 4 टीमें यार मर जाए तो अच्छा है.
Around the building, trying to get to the side that doesn't have many windows. Unfortunately for you, this building has all the windows. Nate goes through, Kevin goes down. There's Saf out as well. Ragnarok last left inside the building. The Vikings are looking to decimate against Ragnarok itself, but Nerzed's still in the fight.
Oh, he's able to stand up though. Ragnarok still with a little dying hope here for Geek. Able to find a knock. Thundertalk suffering on this crossing, sitting, needs to get rezzed here. Back as well, needs to try and stay alive,
भी गई बहुत बढ़िया.
And Ragnarok can't quite weather the storm.
बहुत
The thunder was just too strong. As AJ crawls across, he gets clipped, and it's Thundertalk down to 3.
I mean, a very, very difficult push for Thundertalks. I mean, that is not an easy crash to go for at all. I think they played it quite well. Good smokes. The wrap around the building and the vehicle as well is extremely confusing to play up against for Geek. So I genuinely really did like the play there coming through. Ooh, a 3 MG with a sniper suppressor in there as well, which seems kind of cruel.
You know, put it on a DMR maybe, if you're lucky. But yeah, the MG3 still a pretty big boon if you're able to pick it up. We know Maxman loves it. His favorite weapon, I think. Pretty sure. Haven't checked in a while. I have to double check that one. But either way, a huge amount of firepower and the level 3 refresh on the armor and the helmet, which is maybe even more important in that difficult position. It's just a question of getting there. With 5 teams remaining, DXavier likely going to be the next team to have to move with their solo player Levi's out and across the way, over the road. Everybody else.
जीएस को 1 पॉइंट चाहिए और वोल को 2 पॉइंट चाहिए, ठीक है। अगर इन दोनों दो या 3 पॉइंट भी कर लिया तो इन दोनों में से कोई एक 25 पॉइंट नहीं होना चाहिए। चिकन नहीं होना चाहिए भाई दोनों का, इस तीनों में से किसी एक का भी चिकन नहीं होना चाहिए। या तो टीटी का चिकन हो या तो फिर मैट का चिकन हो भाई।
That's very rough. The ground being peppered with holes in between him. Just trying to make the mad dash. I don't think he's getting out of here. There's a lot of ammo being expended onto him though.
So yeah, big commitment on the ammo front. You're right. From Esso, might need a resupply from the rest of GS.
ये इसका लास्ट बंदा है भाई।
He's still got a gun. He's still dangerous. He's still got damage to put out, I'm sure. And the fact that he's across, that is big for him. For survival, Mad Bulls can't push down towards this side because they're so entrenched against the team underneath them, against the Wolves hiding out in the shelter.
A little bit unfortunate for Thunder Talks right now. They had to use that high ground in the building to pick up a knock to try and push over towards. And as a 3, you sort of need to get an opening knock onto a 4-man squad. Wait, Levi's is still alive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And he's safe from the south because of that fight on the bunker.
Pretty amusing. Now, what is Thunder Talk's move then? I mean, they can try and wrap on Mad Balls, but again, that's
मैड ऊपर ही बैठी है भाई घात लगा के।
Very, very difficult. GS knows the location of Thunder Talks right now, and
नहीं गलत नेड है दूसरे पेड़ पे।
So yeah, King's gonna go try and scout out over towards Mad Bulls, and he's coming back, and he's going for it again.
I mean, it's indecision, but it's so difficult to make the play. GS, they know that Levi's is here. Wolves gonna take shots as well from the mouth of the bunker over towards GS on the approach. They give the gauntlet up over towards
knock डाल दिया भाई।
Too happy to pick up these points as the knocks start to come through thick and fast. GS are suffering, caught in the crossfire. The fact that it's not unlikely that they go down before Levi's now for DXavier is crazy. And Thunder Talk aren't doing too well either. Goodness me, this is getting
nice.
Jafar's on the edge of the blue right now. Does go down. Icon's able to get DS3 back up again.
Nice,
but overall, for Thunder Talks, it's still not a terrible game. I think they'd rather end up in a top 4. Sighting getting picked up at the same time, so they should get themselves back up towards the 3. And a wraparound from King here over towards the Mad Bulls.
भाई DX का लास्ट बंदा बचा है।
For a team shot here, honestly.
नीचे की 3 टीमें
That's a very long nade.
और तीनों को चिकन चाहिए, ठीक है। नहीं तो फिर 6 किल या फिर 6, 8, 9 पॉइंट चाहिए। DX को तो कम से कम चाहिए। DX को चाहिए 6 पॉइंट भाई। अगर DX ने 6 पॉइंट निकाल लिए ना, वो टॉप 7 में आ सकते हैं बे। बट नहीं बे, GS ने 1 पॉइंट निकाल के टॉप 7 में जगह बना ली है। लेवाई 2-3 नेट और करना उधर। ये नेट क्या कुछ कनेक्शन बना सकता है? ओ 1 किल ले गया लेवाई, 1 किल ले गया। नहीं लेवाई ने पोजीशन दे दिया। लेवाई ने पोजीशन दे दी भाई।
And they will be able to find him now. The last player for the Mad Bulls is there, and Thunder Talk want that top spot for themselves. They crest the line and they contest that first place towards the end of the day.
I think that's as dominant as we've seen China in quite a long time, honestly. I think for Thunder Talks, they have looked really good today. I'm extremely proud of this team. I think the combination play has been fantastic. The teamwork has been fantastic. Overall showing has been really good to see. Same with the Mad Bulls. Honestly, though, I think that they look dismayed here. This is the best Mad Bulls have looked in many years.
It is great to see a lot of teams coming back off of an off season, off of an off period of time. It is great to see this resurgence across the board. We are going to be heading over to the analyst desk now to figure out just what happened at the end of that one.
Thunder Talk. Huge right here. On eliminations. They did it very, very precisely there. And for a second, I thought we were going to see a little bit of a symbiotic relationship right there, right? With, we had, what was it, Mad Bulls? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. My brain just went crazy right there. But we saw a crazy symbiotic relationship. And we just see Thunder Talk come up and get the chicken dinner right here. They landed. It's a great rotation. Neptura, what do you think about Thunder Talk?
Thunder Talk, their timing to perfection in this game. Am I right? I mean, I think it was really, really nicely done in the terms of like had a few teams remaining. We had that Bulls over in that shelter area. But what
लगी है भूख अब
difference in their
कुछ खा के आता हूँ.
Mad Bulls pushed a little bit too early. Wolves ended up pushing a little too early onto Mad Bulls, so they were fighting, and then Thunder Talk come in. Perfect timing, just move in, sweep it, actually get a 2-1 going to get rid of Xavier as well, just control the zone.
You can look at this replay here for the final blow of this final wrangle of day one for PMGC Gauntlet, and yeah, as you said here, the timing there was perfect. It was beautiful to see how it was played. Clearly, step between Wolves and having that fight happen way too early. Then talk to move that position from the eastern side over to the southern western edge, taking a high ground position, and as you hear, finding that final player of Levi's, and of course to look at and get the East win here. 18 elimination chicken dinner here, Hot Jukes. An absolute banger from the PL team that had some mixed feelings about this team entering in this tournament, and oh my goodness, these damage and
7 6 4 6 4 10 17 eliminations भाई.
Absolutely
18 10 28.
You know what's so crazy? I was a little surprised we saw start throwing those nades down that walkway right there onto Baton, because all they had to do was just stay on top of the hill, let the Wolves be down there for a little bit of while in shelter, and then once everybody was gone, fight each other for first and second. Red Bulls, they were getting towards that end circle, like, you know what,
तो 1200 का डैमेज 900
just like, nah, let's just shut them down right now, and that's exactly what they did.
789 का डैमेज भाई, क्या बात है.
Absolutely, I love what we saw coming to them. It was just such a nice come back of that. I mean, it was a really, really good win, but it's those things where it was based on the mistakes of others, right? And that's not to downplay Thunder Talk at all, but do believe we just had a little mistakes coming on through there and get back and forth. But I want to say that Thunder Talk coming through, we were all surprised that they had 17 eliminations, but focused on other teams while we're sitting in that compound, just chilling, moving things away from Nox on rotation, just make sure that they control the space around them. But they were able to get such a big win coming off the back of that. It was just really, really nice to see, Max.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. And I think a lot of people, myself included, looking at the PL teams, Weibo were going to be the banner men of that entire region right there. But no, Thunder Talk, that I kept calling is PMW as a very passive team, just unwilling to commit to big fight, try and wrap up games with a ton of eliminations.
Nice, yeah.
The change-up we needed to see from Thunder Talk, and you know what? It is perfect to do it here first day of the quality, because again, the performance like this hot chicks, the elimination chicken dinner, chances are you're going to be looking keyboards.
Oh, they're going to jump up big time. You know, speaking of changes, right? A little change of pace. I want to talk about OG, right? We've seen OG play things very calmly and collected for the first few matches. This one, right? They started to do a crazy push onto R8. Unfortunately, they were taken out. But what about that push here, Nitra?
I think it's really nice that we're starting to see more of the aggression that I was used to.
क्या हाल चाल है नदुल भाई? अरे बढ़िया बढ़िया मेरी जान, तू कैसा है?
From that. Pretty good zoning. I do think they felt the pressure of they were going to have to move eventually, so they tried to be a little bit more proactive, which I can respect to some extent. But you're just
जीत मैच में #13 है ये.
like GS team, like Thunder Talk to try and wrap it up and take the win. So still a really good performance, but those slight PMGC lobby cost you the game, and in this case, that could be what happened.
Yeah, and that's a great game for them regardless of the situation. It's just those few extra points could make such a big difference in the long run. Yeah, look at this. 1,200 damage, 194 healing, and 7 eliminations. This is, I think, the game that Thunder Talk desperately needed here, Max.
अबे इन लोगों का कास्टर्स का सालों का माइक ही ग्लिच है बे.
Hey, no, AJ's looking really good and stuff. Team.
चलो OG है 6 पे.
Look at Silly, he's been performing amazingly and so well. In fact, they're standing in first position on the rankings. 53 points, 20 place points total over the course of these 4 matches. Their average is through the roof and amazing in the process. But now, Nipcho, the question is, when you have 53 points, how comfortable are you to actually remain in top 7 until the end? Because that's a really big point lead. Wait, that's a 33-point lead. And Bulls in 8th? They're super comfy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think
that's a big points, but
it is. I think it's a little too early to say they're super comfortable just yet, but that's a darn good start for them. And coming out of the woodwork, I feel like, I think, Thunder Talk, based on previous
damage
on the global
तो
stage,
PJ.
I certainly wasn't expecting too much out of them. And 3 in, I'm having to change my opinion 100% because this Thunder Talk is who like a year ago.
भाई एक मैच में 12 का डैमेज दे दिया.
Yeah, 1,200 damage from City. I mean, that's gonna definitely right here. That's all it takes. One good chicken dinner and rocket launch, up these leaderboards. So Hopefully we see a little bit more of this, and now we start going into Miramar. That's going to shake things up quite a bit. But one thing that we are starting to see is a little bit of that point gap, right? At least from first all the way down to 8th place. So these teams that are on that second half of the leaderboards, I think come Miramar, you read something up here now.
It really is kind of only a point gap being created in literally just 4 matches here in BGMI. And this is a very strong lobby, but the fact you have a 33-point lead between first and the cutoff in 7th position, 8th position, also, is really a big statement. These top tier teams from your Thunder Talks. I wonder if they can maintain until the end of the gauntlet stage. But yeah, sitting popping off. King is up there. By the way, quick little piece of information. He was on Nova Esports when they won PMGC Season 0 and Season 1 back-to-back. If they are able to go the entire way with PMGC, he would be the only player in the world to have won 3 PMGs, which would be a massive flex in your Instagram bio. I'm just saying.
The ultimate flex. By the way, there is in the 3 players that have previously won a PMG. King has the most champions, and that is right. That was in 2020 and 21. Next, got Silas, who's with Regnum Karia. He won in 2022 with S2G. And Ziol from Alpha Gaming, they ended up winning in 2023 with IHC. So a ton of talent, right, in this lobby right now. Alpha, right? They are underperforming big time in my eyes, Neptura, right? Is this, typical of what you kind of expected from them? Are you a little bit worried? What are you thinking about Alpha Gaming right now?
I mean, I think worried in ones that the other teams are doing so well, so consistently, APG might fall behind a little much. On the other hand, this is very typical of what we've seen from APG. Like, they do this all the time. They will just not get anything done the first 1-2 days and then come back, 5 points in the team they are. So I'm not concerned, but I think other teams might just take advantage of them. And in PMG, that's not the event you want that to happen to you.
I mean, Blank said it perfectly during the cast, right? It's the APG prank, okay? It's real. Day 1 is always the APG prank. Wait for day 2, day 3. That's when the real APG is going to surface here in this lobby. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, because I saw that last game push on and shut them down immediately. Yeah, this is a prank. You're right. I got pranked once again, right? Yeah, I hope it's a prank, right? Come on, right? Show us what's going to happen. Don't wait till tomorrow. It happened right here in Miramar. But you know what? We've already done with Aaron today. We're done with Rondo. We saw hot drops back. Max, talk to us a little bit about drops. We can see here in Miramar.
So we have a few hot drops that could be happening. I'm just going to list them out real quick, okay, so everyone knows what to expect. Northern side, La Coperia, D Xavier versus Mad Balls could be happening. El Pozo, it's Alpha 7 versus GS Team, or if GS Team go into Impala over to the eastern side, it would be GS versus Wolves. Teams in GK, D Xavier, and DRX. San Martinez RA versus E-Arena. And now the big question mark I have about interesting hot drops that might or might not happen is going to be Orangutan actually dropping around Chumacera versus Alpha Gaming.
Хувьд болохоор 4 тоглолтод зөвхөн 4 хоноо авсан байгаа. За ер нь өнөөдөр яг яаж эхэлж байна вэ?
Мэдгүй тэгээд болдгоо тэгээд үзээлээ. Болохгүй л байна.
Currently, like, I don't know, nothing is working on our plan, so I can't really say much.
Are you looking to make changes going into Miramar, considering that there might be a hot drop there as well?
Miramar дээр хамт баг бууж байгаагаас болоод танай багийн зүгээс ямар нэгэн өөрчлөлт оруулах байгаа юу?
Тэгэл байлдан да. Hot drop-о ер нь аавна. Одоо ямар ч баг байсан тэгэл байлдан да. Тэгэл үзэндээ хаа.
Even in the Miramar, there is a chance for hot drop, but still, we will go for the fight and try to win our spot.
All right, well, I'm hoping if there is a fight, you guys end up winning it, because right now it's not the performance we're expecting out of APG. Back to you guys.
The look on his face. It's got me sad. Because when we deserved, he said, you know what? Hey, that's coming. We're ready to fight. And then Seven was like, come on, dude, right? I mean, these guys do not mess around here. Right? Hot drops, they live for them.
Yeah, I have never seen a stubborn team in all my days. This team were like, hey, lose 1-2 games, but y'all best be prepared for that third time because it's not happening. You are going down. I mean, kind of spirit we would love to see in any team, but when you're not doing so, maybe like I don't know, do something else. But listen, first Miramar, first hot drop. Let's see how it goes. You know, they're going, hey, we got this drop to military on a wrangle. We're not going to stop now.
Come on, let's see drop action. We heard it from Revel earlier. He said, you know what, GS, come on down. We're going to fight this. We just heard it from APG. You know, they're ready to fight for a hot drop. How many hot drops are we going to see? John, you tell us right now. 1, 2, 3. I want to know.
I think 3 total.
I think
That's my answer.
0.
Ooh, okay. Well, technically, every team that's dropping in is going to be real hot because it's Miramar. We're in the desert. We're heading over to the dunes once again to see how these teams take on this map. Miramar on the menu. La Cobraria over towards Impala on the plain path flank. If you guys want to keep track of the map throughout the whole of this season's PMGC, you can, of course. There are public map feeds available. You can head on over and keep track of where every team is at all times, which is a very valuable piece of knowledge. You can do a little bit of analysis if you want. We'll be doing so. We're using our map feeds as well. At the moment, nobody getting too stuck into it though with each other.
I'm going to address the allegations right now. Okay.
Okay.
Because
What
there's a lot of talk on Insta about orangutan. Okay. And Max Man's getting a lot of hate right now. Okay. The thing is, if I'm talking about orangutan at 22 minutes into a game, this is already a good thing. Okay. Because there are some teams I haven't been able to talk about at all because they're dead most of these games in the first 6 minutes. So the fact that I get to talk about orangutan 20 minutes in, that's already kind of based for an Indian team. Okay, let's all chill out. Let's all just have a little chill out.
So just to clarify what Blank said, he said orangutan are so bad and he hates them.
OG का chicken है बे इसमें.
I don't think I said that.
Indeed.
Let's head over to the stage and 7 to calm things down. What have you got for us, 7?
अबे गाड़ी पे किधर घूम रहा है?
Oh, maybe not yet.
It's in 20 seconds.
Okay.
15 now.
It's going, we'll cover right now. But yeah, of course, orangutan doing some pretty solid stuff. Let's head over to the stage.
AKOP भाई दिखाया. Thank you PMGC वालों. Thank you. Oh भाई AKOP.
AKOP. Boy, what a performance you guys are putting up here in the first 3 matches, backing it up with great placement points, but the eliminations aren't quite there yet. But you're building up that confidence.
Yeah, we are building the confidence and we are looking forward to grab some eliminations too. Some situations are holding us back, but we make sure we will show the dominance performance like we used to show in India.
ये बात है ना.
Placement points are there, but that fragging power, what do you feel like you need to be able to adjust for that fragging power to come through?
For now, we are absorbing the atmosphere. We are studying the teams, what are the teams doing, and we are looking forward to have a like a team meeting and what are the mistakes we are doing that not getting us the elimination we wanted. And yeah, you will for sure see some double-digit elimination in upcoming matches.
Yes,
I'm going to take that as a promise. And for everybody in India, I'm pretty sure this is pretty much a lot of hope. The performance is there. I'm hyped up for you guys. I'm hoping that the fragging power is going to come through. And honestly, great start, even though the elims aren't there yet.
Yes, भाई. भाई OG ने भाई इसमें अगर 10+ kills निकाले ना भाई, मजा आ जाएगा भाई. #6 पे है गाइस, ठीक है. अब OG को यहाँ से कम 10 पॉइंट चाहिए, ठीक है. अदरवाइज जो नीचे की टीम से है ना भाई, ज्यादा डिफरेंस पे नहीं है.
Indeed. Have a look at what's happening elsewhere on the map right now. Got DRX down towards Puerto Paraíso. And we're getting pretty much a Minas Generalis central finish at the moment, which is not the most horrible position on the map in the world. I mean, up much further than dropping down towards the south side, which is difficult to play in, honestly. And R8 in San Martin.
Fight हो गई.
I actually want to see a little bit
Alpha
more
7.
R8.
Yes, Alpha. Oh, nice connection, be. Oh, GG यार.
A little bit risky at times, though. Cheeky shots coming through from DS3.
It's interesting. He swapped over to the M249. Was playing on the pacing that was assumed of him.
हाँ? गाड़ी कहाँ गई?
Shotgun shells out the window and then immediately swapped to hop out for the spray down. You could see that the plan was to break whilst he was reloading, right, up into the wall. But that little weapon swap really very timely and well read. So nice stuff coming through from GS, and they'll take a scalp of Alpha 7 for their prize. Reckon Kaya surviving as 4 this time. Hopefully they can continue to do that. They were getting clipped quite a lot on Erangel in these last 2 matches. E-Arena, in the meantime, on the north side now, making their approach through the areas up towards the city, up towards truck stop now.
Fully open में जा रहे भाई बंदे.
Moving forward, still with their substitute in. Joker out, NC2. He played in that last match. Wasn't quite able to go the full distance. We'll see what they can do now.
Kind of just taking a look at where some of these rotational paths are going to come from, because I think the moment has
Ragnarok भाई क्या कैम करके बैठा है वो.
But a lot of central space is already taken up right now, John, which is difficult. It's difficult to work with, especially moving through like such open area with the fields, etc.
What the heck? भाई क्या होगा इससे?
NC2 will win out the engagement.
क्या ये नेट कनेक्शन निकाल पाएगा? नहीं नहीं नहीं. ये नेट कनेक्शन निकालने चाहिए भाई. इनका एक प्लेयर इन्होंने गवा दिया. क्या पता नहीं. बहुत गलत भाई मारा. बहुत गलत मारा भाई.
Those open garage doors, but that truck really playing spoiler to a lot of his sight lines. So the regroup, I think, probably necessary here. The third player from Geeke off in the distance, about 200, 300 meters away. It's a kind of a non-factor unless they look to regroup.
Yeah, I think for right now, this is a bit of a weird fight where E-Arena is going to engagement. Inside this building, you got Nerzed hovering off in the distance as well. Definitely a frustrating one for E-Arena, but over towards truck stop anyway. It's likely that both teams are going to be leaving here for quite some time. How close they are. Aaron finding shot over towards Prestige.
भाई.
Flushed yet though, so still
पूरा क्रॉस फायर में बैठे हैं भाई बंदे.
Nice and central as well, looking to put even
उनको पोजीशन नहीं पता भाई.
Which is impressive.
Always a good idea to put more points on the cards. Nerzed moving up. Playing close.
क्या वो नेट से कनेक्शन निकाल पाएगा?
Being shunted around the truck stop. Unlikely for teams to impact this fight as well. It's a little bit too far flung. Maybe the Mad Bulls could be here in a minute or two, but it's more likely that they're going to make their approach elsewhere. Very isolated fight. Not out of the question to fully disengage from this, from actually either of these.
एक बार और try करेगा.
Are fully split linearly, but Nerzed really the sticking point of this fight, up on the hill with oversight on this one.
Yeah, it's the main issue. Again, it's only 2 players underneath, so Kevin as well as Safji can't get really too aggressive, but you are in a bit of a deadlock right now between both these teams. Mad Bull's coming through from water treatment. Most teams are just in position. Again, we're waiting for stage 2 here on Miramar. Biggest shift available. Sent down towards.
See where these next
levels will end up. And it's between San Martin Picado as well as Minas.
भाई GS कहाँ पे है भाई?
Again, this is a lot.
अल्फा को देखो किधर है. BP भी जोन के बाहर है भाई. इन सबका हॉट ड्रॉप एक ही जगह था क्या?
Does have a little bit of a ticking clock on it. I mean, for Nerzed, does he regroup? Do they push?
BP और अल्फा 7 भाई.
I think it's probably.
PT 53.2 माँ वो टुरू लोब हो गया बे.
Try and play the longer game. Regnum Kaya, though, on the middle, having a bit of a clash, actually, with Ulf as Silas keeps Loxy safe. They don't want to be losing players early, not again, especially on Miramar here. The 2-2 split.
REG,
High ground
REG
position for
11th
Zenith, controlling
position.
Thunder Talk a little bit, making their run out just that bit harder. Scarface, he's trying to move in, but no, they're not going to find anything. Silas gets the res.
Again, for Regnum Car, it's definitely a case of
क्या इनेट कनेक्शंस बना पाएंगे? नहीं, गलत नहीं डाल रहे, गलत नहीं डाल रहे.
3 players, that would be tremendously bad for them. Just having one game go their way would be fantastic, especially for the position they're currently in. They're just the west of Thunder Talk. And being able to be in this position means that they have a good chance for an end game, a late game, being only on 18 points right now. Pumping those points up a little bit more would be ideal. You know, getting towards a 40-point boundary at the end of the day is typically what you're really looking for here.
Yeah, getting 40 points on a day would see you fairly safe towards the 7th place position and higher. Around that 110 boundary is where I'm expecting the points to end up here for 7th place. And that will be what they're going to be looking to try and convert on your right. So a lot of work to do in these last 2 games, earning 22 points for Regnum Kaya. In the meantime,
Alpha 7 का एक लड़का क्या गिरा? नहीं निकाल पाया.
Very nearly there, and very nearly losing a player as he sails over the ridgeline for Alpha 7. They will stay alive just that bit longer. Of course, losing a player already, going down to 2 would be pretty disastrous, especially with the chocolate block south side as it is. Virtus Pro bringing up the rear.
A huge amount of teams down here as well. You got Wolves, Alpha 7, Virtus Pro, like you were just saying, DX Xavier, who still need to regroup one another. You got Lambert still heading up. He's right on the south side, but his team's over towards the northeast, as you can see here on your screens. And you even have Wolves like
REG की और Wizard की फाइट हो सकती है OG की. REG और OG की फाइट हो सकती है guys.
Very difficult indeed. That push up over those hills to the north side of Los Leones. Treacherous at the best of times. Geek sending away. I think he's getting down that hill safely. I'm not entirely sure. As the circle pops up towards the north side, it helps out Kara over towards Graveyard, over towards R8 as well, who are looking to take that first place position back and keep it under control. Ulf as well being helped out here. So all of these teams to the north of the La Bandita crater having a good time with this shift blank.
Yeah, I think for Thunder Talk, again, it is a good spot for them. They're currently holding. Orangutan currently coming in from that south side.
Getting stuck in with Regnum Kaya as well, because it's a 3-way fight between them, Ulf,
Orangutan.
Kaya really suffering here. Looks like their day might be a bit of a downer, as they're down to 2 players. Ulf trying to keep up the spirits of European fans, but not really going well for them either, as it's just Scarface now remaining. Orangutan, they've lost 2 in the process of all of this as well, as their fight's not going as strongly as they would have liked either, but they still do have reservoir opportunities. As Scarface steps in, steps out, tries to go for the shot.
उसको कहीं और से पड़ गई भाई.
Will Loxy step on it? No, but he is going to get lit up from the off angle. Oh! That is Kara chiming in.
Kara ने मारा.
As well. Scarface goes down next, and CEO gets a little bold, backed off the angle, but gets the points nonetheless.
No, I mean, at least you got the points on the back of it. There's a good nade, to be honest.
Oh, OG ने भाई
it's not cooked.
टोकेस निकाली. क्या बात है यार?
To move around the side of the wall, but only to get shot out by other teams. So an interesting maneuver.
अबे OG की फाइट ही नहीं दिखाया दे.
Control of that northern side, just on the western edge of La Bandita here.
एक खिलाड़ी नॉक है OG का.
Trying to push their way through Wolves.
OG का एक प्लेयर डाउन है. क्या रिवाइवल कंप्लीट हो पाएगा गाइस?
This engagement, considering they're further north than Wolves right now. And Kara's playing a slow game.
हो गया रिवाइवल कंप्लीट है गाइस. चारों प्लेयर सेफ है.
Around the mines. Give me. NC2 is not likely to get back up here, is he?
No, he's pretty donezo right now. Yarina are in the 4 corners of the map at the moment. Very, very spread. Looks like a survival play. I mean, it looks like Technicate can regroup to Mormon, and maybe they'll play on us too, and have not terrible time over towards Minas Generalis, but yeah, that's going to be rough. I was looking at the Wolves' position there. I don't think they need to push, but as Alpha 7 and Virtus Pro, that this fight, actually, in fact, on our screens right now, that once it concludes, they'll be sending up around the edge of this crater, right? Most likely towards the Wolves' position. The circle,
अबे यार
it goes all the way north,
आतंकी
they can
यार
curve
वुल्फ
around
के
it, but if
पीछे
it
क्यों
pops
जा
to
रहा
the
है?
south, they need to take this fight, and I think
अच्छा मतलब वो लोग रीच पे है.
it's whoever can get there first sends towards the Wolves, but maybe they want to stay on the outside and third party the other person, whoever makes that move. It's a difficult spot on the south edge.
ये जोन किधर मूव करेगा? ओजी पे ही आएगा गाइस, ओजी पे ही आएगा क्योंकि इनका जोन प्रेडिक्शन बहुत तगड़ा है बे.
Play against one another. Wolves also will just play on this edge for a little bit longer. Lavandita really is always this difficult terrain piece.
रात को आएगा. हाँ रात को आता हूँ.
Some of these rotations go right because if you are one of these teams on the south, like you
रात को आता हूँ रे.
a western rotate now. It's really hard playing an eastern rotate because you have little to no information.
अभी ये गेम हाँ भाई साहब तेरे भाई को कास्टिंग करनी नहीं आती रे. इधर एनर्जी ठंडी लग रहा है.
Mounting up closer, you can see they are setting themselves up at the top of the hill to potentially roll down.
भूख लगी है ना इसके लिए ठंडी लग रही है.
About Alpha 7. I mean, do Alpha 7 go all the way around? Do they go wide? Or Virtus Pro going to take that option? Maybe they're going to crash in towards Alpha 7 here.
I mean, they don't. I think if you get a crash over towards Alpha 7, there is a potential that you're able to.
Alpha 7 पे रश डालने जा रहे भाई. स्लैम कर रहे हैं बंदे.
Slowly make the push on the east, but this is a really tough push up towards Longhouse.
Ooh. Feels like Milky Way may have wanted to go a bit further, but actually drops short, uses the car as cover, nades now. The opening salvo for Virtus Pro. A lot of damage done towards them, and that nade nearly takes him down. Luckily, the health ticking back up keeps him going. And Malloy for Virtus Pro is not here with them, still moving out around, moving up to the Labadita crater edge. But in the meantime, the rest of his team rides on in. Revo tries to hold the corridor, looks for the shutdowns, but it's not working.
भाई Alpha 7 को हटा दिए भाई.
Malloy was here to play, but he wasn't needed. Alpha 7 swept aside, and Virtus Pro, the ones to tear them to shreds.
I mean, I'm surprised they were able to make that happen, honestly. I was very surprised they were able to make that happen. It's an incredible push from Virtus Pro.
भाई डायरेक्ट पुश डाल के पेल डाला बे. अबे फिर नॉक हो गया.
Virtus Pro looks down over towards OG. They're able to pick up one, but a quick pick of the vehicle will get one of their players back out again.
बहुत hard guys.
And now stuck inside Levadita.
क्या बचा है भाई? क्या बचा है?
Crater. Will be potentially a difficult place to leave in the Labadita south side. Arena trying to keep their two players in, trying to find a little slice of respite, but I don't think it's going to be too easy to do so. You can see Orangutan lighting them up, DX Xavier sending them away, no room at the inn, and it's into the crater with them. It looks like Orangutan might actually be dropping down to fight them, to meet them. They will come off of that ridge side and move into the angle, the oversight there. But will that give Virtus Pro too much ground? Will that allow Virtus Pro on the south to move in where they weren't allowed to before?
Yeah, I think for DRX, they're holding the two-man split down this way as well, just to prevent teams from making that rotate over towards the eastern side. I think you are Virtus Pro. You're just kind of looking for these teams.
आतंकी अकेला क्यों है?
Lavandita, good shot over towards Mormon as well. We'll find one. Not likely to end up in a flush, but that does mean that their push out towards that eastern side is now covered by the fact that flush res needs to go through. Little Talk just playing this game out really easy right now. I'm also very surprised that OG was able to make this cross. It was a decent one underneath the purview of Virtus Pro. I mean, they did have to leave a couple of players behind. This was crazy, by the way. This is crazy. DRX held this angle for so long, and then as they leave, Virtus Pro makes the push. So you either need to commit or not commit. Not one or the other.
Yeah, it's It's not ideal. It's not worked out for DRX in that situation. Wolves, though, actually moving back up and maybe trying to backfill on this rotation for Virtus Pro. I don't think I had this on the cards at the moment, but the Wolves are making this rotate, and it might pan out. Mabo now caught alone. The rest of Virtus Pro have found a little bit of isolation from him, and there's no way he's getting back up. The Wolves clip the wings of Virtus Pro, make it all the harder to move over this Labendita crater here. It is a couple of real crazy rotates coming through on this south edge, and I'm loving it.
फाइट हो गई भाई बड़ी तगड़ी वाली.
It's such a hard place to rotate through as well. It's very hard to make happen. I mean, Wolves make a late rotate back down towards the south side to push through. Virtus Pro still ahead of things, but are losing players, hemorrhaging as they go. Xavier are waiting, and Virtus Pro kind of sense there's something in the midst there, and will just back it off.
That is a strong backing off as well. They do make it to a shack, but you've got to imagine it's going to be a question of
पटिकाली क्यों ले रहा है?
and if not, it might just be done for. Or they're going to move again. I wouldn't put it past them. DRX now trying to make their move as well, but the Wolves have the ridgeline. And it's not going to be easy at all to make their way out this direction. And a little bit further they have to go as well, as DRX will be consumed by the blue here. Wolves making their way
भाई इसको जोन निकलना पड़ेगा. बहुत खतरनाक काट रहा है.
towards that north edge of things, playing up towards the oversight, towards DX Xavier, towards that high ground.
क्या ये हिल किट लग पाएगी? लग गई.
For DX Xavier, I mean, it's an okay spot, right? It's fairly central, but it's just it's a nade hole.
वो लोग वेट करेंगे भाई.
It's going to be throwing as soon as they start to get close there. It is so easy just to smoke that area out and then just toss nades in, and DX Xavier's done for. It's going to keep them protected for quite a while. I might even give them the chance at an end game finish here, but it's end up being a win. DRX
भाई पूरा ओपन में है भाई, पूरा ओपन में जोन है.
Virtus Pro just slightly ahead.
कारा के पास थोड़ा सा वो
It's sad for Virtus Pro that they made
वहाँ
this
पे
rotate
थोड़ा घर है.
only to fall
पूरा जोन ओपन में बना.
a very similar rotate from Wolves later on. GK will go down. His Mad Bulls pushing through once again. I think Mad Bulls have had a lot of success today. I've been quite impressed by them.
They have had some solid engagements. They're in third place. That is undeniable. 39 points so far today. Now they want to try and find DRX and GK, or whatever remains of them, rather. As Nursed actually breaking out far, all the way to the back of the compound here. Probably going to be fairly safe for this. Until, that is, Mad Bulls actually get across the way.
भाई जो भी है यार लाइक कर दो.
They are going to have to move towards the circle, which is southwest of them right now. Probably over towards DX Xavier. That's where they're looking.
Oh, nice bit.
Nice shot from Flip towards Soes as he makes the jump. And Mad Bulls can continue down this way. It's so open over on these fields. Pretty much there's a big task ahead of a couple of teams here. OG have to deal with E-Arena, which shouldn't be too difficult playing out on that eastern side.
GK पर हो गया.
With AP,
pre-nade.
towards GS. But most
अरे तेरे पीछे से आ रहा है भाई.
kind of controlled right now by GS. Side.
भाई वो बंदे को वहाँ पे नहीं डालना चाहिए था नेट. बाहर अगर नेट डालता तो अच्छा रहता.
Was able to take one down in nearly a second, but not quite. NZ falls. VK are eliminated. GS in the meantime, as we hop over to the northwest side near Kara, near R8 as well.
भसड़ होने वाली भाई, भसड़ होने वाली.
If GS take a knock or two, R8 are going to be able to overwhelm this. You need to be careful. Icon stepping forward. CEO and Lewis trying to play off one another, playing on the windows. The CEO stepping in. Jafar goes down, goes low. R8 now's the time to push up, but they're not really in a position to do it. They haven't fully regrouped here. It might not matter though, because GS still have got more to deal with. Kara on the outside, giving them a run.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Icon steps in, but can't quite find him. His CEO just fails to get back behind the corner and falls to it.
GS still holding on here. Kara, I'm surprised that they put up a little bit of a fight here. They were stuck in, but GS did a really good number on them. In the meantime, APG is scrapping Thunder Talk on the other side of things. You can see that in the picture on the bottom right.
अभी इनको जोन निकलना पड़ेगा फटाफट.
On top.
फिलहाल जोन में ही है.
I believe just Doc remaining there. with the full squad wipe over towards Thunder Talks in the end. Wonderfully done. Not
चलो
an easy push either.
अगर बोलने यार चिकन मारा भाई What the fuck?
I thought at the very least it would
भाई
have been
आतंकी
two
फिर
points
नॉक हो
for
गया
Thunder
क्या?
Talks still up, but APG still got it in them. Nice nade from ESO again over towards Marth. R8 loses another player.
That is far from ideal. That knock, that flush comes through. That
चल
pushes
एक
down
किल
to
निकाला
three.
उन्होंने 31 हो
Did
गया
have an opening to try and third party up to the north, but they were more concerned with maintaining that south boundary.
चलो
That may be the right play in this situation.
अभी निकलना
So
पड़ेगा
they
इनको
just
निकलना
don't
पड़ेगा
take the slip.
जोन
And
के लिए
now
जाना
all
पड़ेगा भाई
those teams on the north to get stuck in.
एपीजी का सिर्फ एक प्लेयर बचा रह गया
Kara and Mad Bulls will have to conclude. GS
कारा के
as
2
well.
हैं
They'll
डीएक्स
be
के
stuck up there.
4 है
Gonna have a
जीसी
tough time,
जीएस
but
के
it's
भी 4 हैं
Xavier
गोल
will
का
have
एक
a
ही
hell
है
of a
और
position,
ओजी
and
के
they're
पे
gonna have to hold a push now, Blank, because someone's gonna go for it.
ओजी 5 पे आ गई भाई क्या बात है वीपी भी वाइप हो गई क्या बात है भाई क्या बात है
This is going to be a hard hold. A very, very hard hold for them. You can see nades already starting to be sent over by the Mad Bulls. But equally for anyone else, like even if you take down DXAV, you still have this.
बट अगर डीएक्स या जीएस ने यहाँ पे चिकन मारा ना गाइस तो ये डायरेक्ट 33 पॉइंट पे हो जाएंगे और किल्स के पॉइंट अलग
Information earlier from Marth going down, and with GS all now locked in this one position, nades galore from either side, from Kara, from RA. Goodness me, that is
भाई हर तरफ से नेड पे नेड आ रहे भाई
That one looks good. No, it's just short. They continue, though, the bombardment. It seems like they're bottomless on the nade pockets here, with more pouring in, but Mad Bulls finally humbling them slightly, stepping them back off the angle as the nades bobble over the fence. CEO trying to weather it from the Mad Bulls as well.
मेडकिट लगा रहे हो
It is really
एक नेड और करना था ना
any sort of movement on this north side. Pusher for Mad Bulls on the off angle there.
भाई आरेट अभी तक
towards the rest of the team. A CEO.
भाई
Nice position. Will get taken down. It's Lemon to claim the point, and that is now 6 teams remaining.
मैड भी अभी जिंदा है भाई टॉप 7 की 3 टीमें अभी भी सरवाइव कर रही हैं आतंकी पूरा फिनिश कहते हो गया
Good wrap around from San Martin and La Bandita. Now looking over towards.
अबे फिर एक नॉक हो गए भाई वो
Finding that shot over towards AKOP. A little bit of a difficult scenario to head themselves into. R8 putting more points in the back pocket, up to 50 now, and Mad Bulls not too far behind.
भाई डीएक्स की टीम से मत आ रहो भाई प्लीज यार
Still 7 elims on
Come on, man, यार
damn good stuff. 32 points total.
चल रिवाइवल कंप्लीट है बढ़िया 32 पॉइंट्स एक नंबर वोल एलिमिनेट हो गई एक नंबर डीएक्स को भी जाना चाहिए भाई नॉक निकाला क्या नहीं एक दो नेड और एक दो नेड भाई आतंकी ने 3 किल निकाला 3 4 5 6 7 बढ़िया किल्स निकाले भाई 7 किल्स इस बार निकाला ले Come on, Wiz!
Nobody really on that south flank other than him to find it. And the shots are connecting. The Wiz cut.
Oh, connection बना एक HP है वो.
Oh, he steps back into the spray line and nearly goes down because of it.
Wizgod going to send straight back up again. Knows he needs to pull the pin on the grenade now because he has to keep the Xavier out.
नॉक डाला एक विज ने एक नंबर पे. Come on, boy. Fuck the ball, man.
Again, more res is coming through. They see Mad Bulls off in the distance.
अबे रिवाइवल हो गया बे.
Even more on this game, up to the top 4 now.
Mad Bulls are the bigger threat.
अरे रे भाई एक HP है भाई. बड़े हमें पता है ना उन्हें नहीं पता है. Come on यार पुश डाल दो बे.
Preoccupied with getting those reses. There's 3 players still alive here. The Molotov sent to the sky for Aru. Trying to slow and he pushes the nades, continue to roll over the top. That looks like it sits under him.
भाई रिवाइव हो गया भाई. तीनों रिवाइव हो गए भाई.
Able to connect either. Somehow DXAV are surviving these nades. Everything being put their way. They're stepping out. They're moving.
भाई क्या कर रहे थे?
They're just keep them at bay though. This is the big thing right now for OG is that
मैट फ्लिप जोन से ही नॉक हो गया.
DXavier stuck inside these tunnels, it makes their end game a lot easier. They just need to control.
Oh, nice GG be. Last one.
Now they know they need
what?
to
Vizu.
from DXavier. There's a player behind, hidden away. Look looking for the flush. WizGod goes down now. AKOP needs to find Paragin, who's been holding a cheeky angle for so long, and Levi's will finish them off. Dear me, what an angle from Paragin underneath the vehicle. That is a sneaky maneuver.
Oh, you just never expect it. That is so brutal for OG. Paragin makes it work, and now DXavier have time to... No, they're not going to get that third player up. Okay, they didn't go for that res. The play zone was pushing. It is this last stage, and Mad Bulls now with an option to maybe take a chicken dinner here on our first Miramar. Levi's the last stand, and it will be the Mad Bulls to take it away. Disaster strikes for OG. Paragin under the bumpers was able to take him down, but DXavier weren't able to get out from underneath the vehicle either, and it is Mad Bulls who will be able to move on through. A brilliant close down to that game.
Yeah, very, very good stuff coming through from the Mad Bulls. Honestly, really, really well done from them in terms of control recently. I think as an aggressive team,
यार उन्होंने फिनिश भी नहीं निकाल पाया भाई.
on top in that engagement was very astonishingly good, and I think it only really became apparent later on there with the way they set the vehicles inside of that bunker, making it a little bit less prone to the days being thrown over the top. I think OG's rotate up from Labandita was fairly strong, but difficult to make work there versus DXavier. Almost had it. If it wasn't for that spot that Paragin held, they would have easily transitioned from there.
Light it up. Gotta do it.
भाई क्या बोलूं मैं अब.
Yeah, and I think it is impressive to see that one happen. I was very, very pleased with the way that game panned out, because it was set after set of very, very difficult rotations coming through from teams to deal with, especially on that south side for First Pro, for Wolves.
अब लास्ट मैच आज का रह गया.
These are
समझ रहे हो
all
guys?
tricky rotations to figure out. Even for OG, the way that they've navigated through Labandita, that is not an easy position to play in, because they dealt with E-Arena shortly afterwards. But an international level like this, I'm expecting teams to be able to do that, but I didn't expect every single team to be able to navigate that position fairly well. So it was quite impressive and a fun game to watch. And also, it's one of the first times in quite a while I've seen someone effectively play out that bunker where DXavier were playing jump.
I mean, normally you just see those nades land straight on top of you and you're straight on down, but that vehicle position, that was that's just pretty crazy.
It really was. And I think this is, oh dear me. I don't think this is the final blow, but it was definitely the final blow for OG. That's for sure. Really, really tough stuff. I mean, to be fair, OG plucked up the courage to actually push it, which they needed to do. But yeah, that's a rude angle. Absolutely a rude angle to play.
Yeah, it needs like a perfect approach.
बहुत घटिया बैठा था भाई.
Inconsistent to be able to get that set up, as we've highlighted before. It's just incredible, and you can't blame OG at all for going down to it. They've also got 7 elims on that match, so again, able to find that focus. As we take a look at the stats here for the Mad Bulls on their win, and they will be able to be fairly consistent across the board here. Tulica a little bit lower on the elims, but still keeping up with the damage. Flip as well, but yeah, great stuff for them, coming through a really tricky spot on the north side of that circle too.
Yeah, again, I think this is a team that just works. It's funny the way this team has been brought together as well, because Tulica, been picked up by several different teams within Europe as well. Pusher, similarly, Lemon, Flip. They've all been on several different teams in the past and kind of been like the player that's been dropped, or the 2 players that have been pushed out. And they were like, you know what? To hell with it. Let's just make a team together. We can be successful from there. And they have been. And it's nice to see the revival of Mad Bulls from that as well, which is definitely the coolest thing for me, because Mad Bulls was a name that you used to say in the past, and it was a fearsome name. let's take a look at some of those highlights from that last game, because there were definitely quite a few, but there was also quite a few moments where you're out in the open, and it's a tough position to play. But these initial shots from E-Arena, from GK, taking shots over towards them, holding them position, it is surprising watching that earlier on, John, from Truck Stop, and then seeing where E-Arena actually ended up.
It's interesting we're seeing Regnum Kaya on here as well. It feels like they have really been dropping the ball today. And they are not having a good time of things. Maybe they'll be able to resurge. But at the moment, it's not looking good for their 7th place chances. They did come into conflict with plenty of teams out for blood. You see the frustration on Silas's face there. Very disappointed with his performance and the performances of his team as well, you'd imagine. Yeah, look at some of the oversight that OG had onto all of these scraps around the Lavendie to create that south side setup rotates was really quite wild, I think, with Bloods Pro, with DRX, with the Arena, all making, with Wolves making some really interesting choices.
Yeah, it's a tough game to play in, honestly. And especially with all that open area towards the end, it was really a case you had to clear out a lot of teams, and we kind of predicted it quite well that DXA were going to be one of the last teams to fall as well, just because that spot, although tremendously treacherous to play in, does give you a nice spot to work with going into the future, and at least secure yourself a high placing off the back of it.
It's always important to get up into those top spots. As the Mad Bulls celebrating their chicken dinner there, rightly so. Very nice stuff coming on through. So we take a look at our match rankings as well here. 22 points total for the game. 12 elims found. Nice result for the Mad Bulls. That north side
मुझे hashtag 2 है
for them on their position, but it's 2nd place there. 14 points for OG.
बढ़िया यार.
Yeah, really wonderful stuff. And I mean, only getting 5 placement points as well. I mean, they get 3rd place. They don't quite pick up the 2nd there because of DXavier, but still a really strong game. 9 elims off the back of it, 14 points total. I kind of liked what we heard about in the interview between Seven as well as AKOP, where they were talking about that realistically what they were doing in those first few games was, and it makes a lot more sense to me now as well, where they're trying to figure out the rotations. They're trying to figure out these teams, because they, unlike a lot of our other teams here, haven't had the chance to play in a lot of these other international tournaments, figure out how different teams play.
All boys versus hashtag 60 आ रहे हो बात खत्म.
I imagine, but to kind of get a grasp of it and then move into a much more what feels like a comfortable flow state come match 5, it's definitely a nice thing to see.
As our MVP for that match was Lemon from Mad Bulls, doing the most healing and surviving the longest, obviously, in the winning team. But yeah, a big heal game coming on through for Lemon, as he was able to pump out plenty of damage as well. Nice stuff coming on through.
Indeed. He had the most healing, apparently, out of anyone in the world, somehow. Player data there, 332. That's the highest that has been occurred. 673 damage total. 1,000 damage for AKOP, actually gaining
क्या बात है
the
भाई.
old
1030 का डैमेज दिया रे. एक नंबर पे के भाई.
1,000 damage mark. With only 3 elims is wild, by the way. So he was just taking cracks at everyone inside the lobby. Not quite finding the elim, but certainly giving out a fair few bruises and cuts in the process. Lambo, the face does not match the punch right now. He looks afraid to go to bat with me, but you know, he still did 611 damage, so he's a fearsome boxer nonetheless.
Absolutely. Don't want to come across him on the dunes of Miramar. I mean, for OG, right, their position on the north side of the Labadita crater, they were holding out Wolves, they were holding out E-Arena, they were holding out all those teams to the south, taking pot shots as well. We saw them flexing out, doing a lot of work, not necessarily getting the most in response, but probably a lot of those elims were taken away by maybe other members of his team, right? There were 4 other elims on his team. It'd be interesting to see what the general stats for OG were, but yeah, a great result, and he's living up to the interview talk, which often doesn't happen. You know, a player will say, "Oh yeah, you know, we'll get better. We'll be more elimination focused, yada yada yada," and you think, "Yeah, right, okay, pull the other one." But no, he's living up. It's good to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, he didn't really. I think the cool thing was that when he was speaking, we hear a lot of generalizations during interviews as well, where it's case, oh, we'll do better, we'll get more elims, etc., etc. I don't think he did that too much. Quite clearly, like, identified where they were weak and what they need to improve on, what they were doing quite well. And I think that's very important for a team, because those are things you definitely need to identify in future to improve. And I think I would have been a little bit more harsh if it was the case that they came into the rest of the day and they hadn't really improved on any of those things. But again, it's nice to see from what we saw earlier, which was, you know, still decent rotations, but a little bit more of a passive performance, to this, which is now quite aggressive at times, and also they look a lot more comfortable. So it's nice seeing the evolution from them.
Evolution.
Mad Balls over the years, it's a very similar story.
Yeah, that sort of reforming of that team, as you said, that coming back together of players who have dropped out of teams or been replaced on teams, having a good result in this game. And I think that, to be honest, certainly at the middle of this year, generally this standard quality of play was not the best, I think, overall in the PUBG Mobile scene. But it feels to be improving here. I'm feeling a little bit bigger of a breath of life being sent back into the old dog. It's good to see.
Absolutely. But we're going to take a short break and we'll be back when the match is ready. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
तो लास्ट मैच है आज का। ये बंदे डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गए ना। एक साइड ए भी है भाई। अल्फा 7 सालों ने 2 चिकन मारे आज। एक साइड ए भी है। I think that 5 finger. Maybe 5 finger. 5 finger. 4 finger. लास्ट मैच रह गया भाई। मेरा हमारी ये भी है। भाई इनका कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ा है क्योंकि इन्होंने चिकन मारा ना अभी। कॉन्फिडेंस तो भाई बढ़ेगा ही। इस गेम में भाई कुछ भी हो सकता है भाई। ओजी को इस बार अच्छे पॉइंट्स निकालने पड़ेंगे, अदरवाइज भाई टॉप 7 तो किसी भी तरह करना पड़ेगा भाई। Yeah. Come on, guys. We want chicken bay. गाइस लास्ट मैच है ये आज के दिन का, जिसमें से एक रोंडो, 3 मिरामार, 3 ही रैंगल है और 2 मिरामार है। ठीक है, ये लास्ट मिरामार होने जा रहा है। 3, 3.5, 4 घंटे से बंदे खेल रहे हैं भाई रेगुलर। उसके बाद भी जाके खेलेंगे ही। अपने ओजी का एक चिकन आना मांगता है यार, ये आज के दिन का चिकन आना चाहिए यार। कम ऑन गाइस यार, #2 आया, #3, #4, 5 मैच हुए, 5 पोजीशन आई है। इस बार यार चिकन मांगता है बे अपने को। ओ भाई अबे कब चालू होगा बे? देखते गाइस कब चालू होगा। तब तक से मेरा शकल देख लो तुम लोग। मेरी शक्ल देखो तुम, समझ रहे हो ना? मेरी शक्ल देखो। बाल बढ़ा रहा हूँ भाई। कम ऑन मैन, कम ऑन, कम ऑन, कम ऑन, कम ऑन गाइस, कम ऑन। रात को आऊंगा बे। कमिंग सून। आएंगे अभी थोड़ी देर में। ओ भाई कान पक गए मेरे भाई, कान पक गए मेरे। अरे तेरी माँ की चाय। यार दो, ये दाढ़ी भी बड़ी हो गई है, जंगली लग रहा हूँ एकदम से। क्या वीडियो बनाऊं मैं इसमें? तुम्हारे भाई ने 4 चैनल खोल डाले बे, तुम लोग को मालूम नहीं है। 2 में फेस रिवील नहीं है तुम्हारे भाई का। एक तो ये हो गया, एक तो मेन वाला हो गया है, बाकी 2 हो गया जो तुम लोग यकीन नहीं करोगे, उन दोनों पे मैंने इससे ज्यादा फास्ट ग्रोथ कर ली है। उन दोनों पे मेरे 6-7 हजार सब्सक्राइबर भी हो गए हैं, सिर्फ एक एक वीडियो डाल के। क्या बताऊं मैं भाई। बे चालू हो जा भाई, क्या हो रहा है ये? गाइस जो भी देख रहा है लाइक मार देना, ठीक है भाई को लाइक कर देना। 2 घंटे से स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ मैं। क्या बात है ओजी, फिर से 4 नंबर पे मेरी जान। बट ये, अरे माँ कसम, इस मैच में भाई परफॉर्मेंस चाहिए अपने को। इस मैच में परफॉर्मेंस चाहिए गाइस। इस मैच में चाहिए परफॉर्मेंस, नहीं तो फिर वाट लग जाएगी गाइस।
fixed as fast as we possibly can get them fixed. We'll be waiting just a short time longer. I think John's still here. I believe.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. I'm all here.
Yeah. He's all here.
Oh,
He's still chilling. Yeah, I'm feeling like Scarface too right now.
Yeah.
I'm not actually sat like that. This is a posture check time.
या कर रहे बे?
Hydration.
Yes.
The last match.
Yes.
When you go into the desert, stay
Yes.
hydrated. Can really get away from it. Yeah, very important. Alpha 7. Sorry, Alpha 7 Virtus Pro. The orange game, obviously.
No.
maybe I'm not all here. Goodness me. Yeah, Virtus Pro. Definitely not Alpha 7. And definitely, currently, kind of neck and neck with these two teams. In terms of their performance today. I mean, the early Alpha 7 today, maybe not.
Yeah, there's honestly today Virtus Pro's been playing fairly well. I think there's been moments where I have been slightly questioning some of Virtus Pro's positioning. I think that there's multiple times where I'll see Virtus Pro make a rotate, and although it's fairly decent, some of the execution at times is slightly lacking. I think when you watch a team like Alpha 7, when they have a plan in mind, they're able to usually execute on it fairly well. I think Virtus Pro, despite them being so damn good mechanically, there is times where I'm somewhat unimpressed by positioning. I think that's the best way I can put it. And it's difficult for me to talk like this because it's like, well, Virtus Pro is doing very well. It's very well in their region as well. So I think it's more a case that I'm just expecting more for them. I haven't quite seen that yet.
भाई बंदे खुश है बे.
It's not been as loud as other teams, no. But there are those glimmers every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, they've been at least consistent, right?
Across the board.
Yeah, they've been consistent.
Come on, guys.
The thing you want to see.
Top 7 आना है. घर वापस नहीं आना है.
Less can be said about Alpha 7 in that circumstance. I think when we have seen Alpha 7 play at like a high, it's like, wow, that's impressive. I know why they made that movement. I know why they made that rotate. I know why they sent that off angle. Virtus Pro, it feels slightly messy, but I don't know. Sometimes they're thriving in that.
चलो मेरा मार्च स्टार्ट हो गया गाइस. मजा आएगा.
Game of the day, and it will be
फाइनल गेम है आज का.
Indeed, it will once more into the desert for the end of the day. Match number 6 of the Gauntlet stage. We're heading in our plane on the south side over towards Puerto Paraíso. Let's see where our teams get stuck in.
आज का लास्ट मैच है गाइस. 6 मैच है आज का.
Get a vehicle wedged on a tiny little box and be able to find a little car.
क्या हो जी, आप इस मैच में चिकन मारेगी गाइस. चिकन नहीं तो 20 किल्स. मजा आ जाएगा भाई सही में.
Kind of difficult to work with, especially around Chumacera. I mean, a lot of teams are going to want to send north off the back of this one. Monte Nuevo, El Porto, La Cobreria. I don't think we'll see any teams picking up Ruins. It's a pretty trash drop.
भाई इस बार का जोन अलग है भाई.
Split, we'll see. But Puerto Paraíso is where this plane path will end. This is actually one of the hardest plane paths to deal with.
मेरे को लगता है एपीजी के साथ ड्रॉप फाइट हो जाएगी. नहीं. बट एपीजी ऊपर उतरे हैं भाई.
You have to cover so much space over towards the north side that a lot of times you're struggling for vehicles where those spawns, those drops are taken by other teams. Suddenly your initial rotation is kind of blended up a little bit.
एपीजी के साथ फाइट हो जाएगी गाइस इनकी. कम ऑन यार, 4 किल्स तो इनको मार के लो. ओ भेड़ दी. जोन देख रहे हो, जोन कहां श्रिंक किया है.
Think better of it. Go back with the rest of your team, mate. You've got Puerto Paraíso to go to.
आरू ने एक नॉक निकाला क्या?
In the meantime, Orangutan.
आरू ने एक नॉक निकाला भाई. एक नंबर पे, एक नंबर. बहुत बढ़िया.
I think that's the only player in that location as well. Going to be difficult to get this one back up for Alpha Gaming. And a nice little pickup. Keep that ball rolling for OG. They are currently
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत बढ़िया.
Point to the tally, make that 40. Nice clean round number. And that's where we said we wanted to see teams at the end of a single day, right? Over that 40-point threshold.
ये भाग रहा है, इसको पकड़ो.
Yeah, Thunder Talk's in a really good position right now at 57. OG just breaking that barrier of 40 is perfect for them going into tomorrow. They just need to keep up this kind of pace.
भाई flank डाल रहा है.
I think for OG coming into the first day and getting 40 points.
Come on man, what are you doing?
Especially for India.
एक वेक्टर है और इसके बाद M4 है. मैड किधर है? मैड तो भाई कहाँ उतरी है?
India in international tournaments, a lot of times they play catch up. Second day, just because they haven't had enough international experience by that point. So OG actually picking up 40 points here is a massive change within the scene for them, and will be very beneficial for them going into tomorrow. Our rate similarly at 55 points. I don't think many teams saw that one coming, but that's extremely potent. If Mad Bulls can get another strong Miramar finish now, it's all but settled that they'll pick up that top 7.
31, 32, 38. भाई अल्फास को पीछे छोड़ दिया मैं ओजी ने. क्या बात है बे.
We're looking more and more likely as time goes on. We'll put it that way. As we said, towards the
अबे इसकी फाइट हो जाएगी.
Exactly where I'm expecting that bubble on 7th place to be around 110 points.
आतंकी मरना मत भाई, मरियो मत बे.
Points will give you 120 points on average, and that's when you're going to start to see yourself nice and safe. So the further you go over that metric, the better. But at the moment, Alpha Gaming, they...
What the hell? What the hell, man?
Want to get off of last place, I think is really the name of the game for them right now, because it is not where they want to be, and losing a player early is not how you start that one out. Bad news bears for Alpha Gaming.
It's so hard to talk about this team in general, just because
मार उसको, मार साले को मार.
They change so often. I mean, overall, today's gameplay has been pretty poor. Let's be honest, right? I think everyone can agree that.
जेब में तेरे बंदा है दोस्त. बे यार ये क्या कर रहा है भाई? नेट चल यार.
Alpha Gaming hasn't played fantastically well today, and I think that it is
nice यार.
Sad.
Nice यार.
Wow, that is a very nice shot. What the? Okay.
What the hell, man? क्या चल रहा है? ये नेट चल रहा है? क्या चल रहा है? $42 points हो गए बे.
With the Scar as well. I mean, it's really impressive. Actually insanely impressive at that distance. Yeah, I think everyone can agree today that Alpha Gaming has not been playing very well. But they chop and they change.
Sorry guys. But पता नहीं क्या हो गया, अचानक से नेट चलना बंद हो गया.
Not been playing very well. But they chop and they change so frequently.
Come on, आतंकी इसको भी मार.
Metrics that it's very hard to talk about them in a bad light without going tomorrow and then a lot of Mongolian fans getting angry at me because suddenly they have 80 points. Because that could easily happen.
Yeah, that's true. But at the moment, they're definitely not getting 80 points. They're down to 2 players now, Top and Ziol, isolated from one another. And it looks like OG are sort of aware...
नहीं. भाई ये क्या हो रहा है यार? ये नेट अपनी क्यों मार चुदा रहा है बैंड चोत? माँ की चूत मारो मादर चोत.
Yo, on the ridge line. Wizgod, no, he doesn't want to take that fight. The rest of his team's got it under control. Tanky,
What
not
the
so strong.
fuck, bhai? What the
May
fuck?
Get the flush there, but it's actually going to be able to pick up a buggy because of it. This is going to be a get out of jail card.
भाग रहा है वो बग्गी लेके माँ का लौड़ा. मादर चोत. चूत मारी का. मार दे भाई, प्लीज मार दे.
Yeah, it's an annoying maneuver for OG right there.
की को ले गया बहन का लौड़ा.
I assume that he's going to take the vehicle though once it lobs down the hill. I don't think he's going to take another fight. So I think for OG, the mistake there is just not pushing harder as soon as they lose the first player. But again, if you're down to 3, they want to be careful. They don't know where the off angle is as well. You just a little bit more patient with it. If you're happy to play on with 3, give up the 1 elimination. That's fine. So I think OG can just continue on here. It's a little bit frustrating losing that buggy though.
And that is not an ideal turnaround for it. We have, I believe we have an interview coming up soon, which will be nice to hear from 7WG down on the stage. The guy has all the best info.
भाई इनका नेट ही नहीं चल रहा है, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है.
I'm going to guess it's with the Mad Bulls. We'll see if I'm right as we head over to 7WG on the spot.
Welcome back to a quick report with the 7WG. I'm here with the team that's hot. Mad Bulls, Tulika nonetheless. Great back-to-back performances. Second place finish and then a first place finish. How are you guys feeling?
Ну, отличная битва. На четвертой карте второе место, на пятой карте первое место. Как ты себя чувствуешь? Как команда вообще чувствует?
Отлично.
What the hell, man? What the hell, man? What the hell?
Второе место, на пятой карте первое место. Отличная битва. На четвертой карте второе место, на пятой карте первое место. Как ты себя чувствуешь? Как команда вообще чувствует?
Отлично. Приятно играть глобальные турниры, когда у тебя хорошая команда.
Very good when you have nicely teammates. Very good when you have nicely teammates to play global tournaments.
That's great to hear. Now, with this momentum, what are you looking to do here in this last match?
Сейчас какие планы на последний матч, шестой последний матч игрового дня?
Каждую игру мы стараемся забирать топ-1, каждую игру играть как последнюю.
So every match they will try to get, play for win. So 6-match plan is also play to win.
All right, I like that. I like that confidence. Thank you so much, brother. Back to you.
Hey, that's one of those, yeah, we got to play well answers. So there you go.
ऐड ऊपर आ चुकी है भाई. बट भाई ओजी ने वो चौथा पांचवा और छठे का वो जो एक भाई रेगुलर भाई फर्स्ट मैच में वो 6th पोजीशन पे थी, सेकंड पे 5th पे आई, थर्ड पे फिर 4th पे गई और 6th 4th में फिर वो 5th पॉइंट पे आई. ठीक है, और 5th में फिर वो 5th पे आई और अभी 5th में फिर से वो 5th पे आए और आप ये देखते भाई फिर फाइट हो गई. कम ऑन गाइस यार, मरना नहीं है यार, इनसे तो नहीं मरना है यार, इनसे तो नहीं मरना है यार. कम ऑन, नाइस भाई, बहुत बढ़िया.
Ooh, a nice little shutdown there. It is Alpha Gaming going down too. Yeah. Entirely. Yeah, they really were out for blood there. Chumacera is being claimed by OG right now. Seems fairly successfully. And it looks kind of like Alpha Gaming having a real tough time on like all of their drop spots on Erangel in military base, getting contested, although they did push GS away from that one. This time around, it's gone pretty poorly for them on Chumacera. And we'll see if OG can make it into the next circle.
मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा भाई ये क्या हो रहा है. भाई ये लैग इशू मेरी तरफ से नहीं है भाई, ये इनका वो है, समझ रहे हो.
First time it might be a case of like, I think that Alpha Gaming just might not make it through the gauntlet stage, and they'll be forced.
OG 43 हो गए भाई.
Just because I'm not feeling it right now. I really am not feeling it.
TT भी जा रही है I think.
And I think that tomorrow there's potential.
भाई मेन फाइट पे ही क्यों ऐसा हो रहा है भाई, मेरे को समझाओ यार.
Like a 22-point game for them, but even then, it's not enough. Sitting.
भाई क्या मारा है?
But even then, tomorrow there's potential.
Oh,
like a 22.
Oh भाई.
But even then, it's not enough. Sitting. The team down.
GG यार.
What a play that was. The 180 flick. Dear me.
Taxi way.
My man with the pump action doing.
Dear me.
My man with the pump action doing so much on the inside, and now Loxy has to turn around or run away. Tail between the legs. Rectum Kaya sent dizzy by the pump action. That is crazy. That's a bit of mistiming from Regnum Kaya, it has to be said, though. Allowing that to happen, you need to step in at the same time, take those angles together.
Yeah, I mean,
क्या ये connections निकाल पाएंगे?
Made a quick fling in the concrete with sighting.
Alpha 7 भाई.
No second date for Regnum Kaya, that's for sure. Alpha 7 now looking over towards ESR. I mean, DBS. The gun is consistently getting nerfed, but still seems to be able to.
What the fuck, भाई? What the fuck? अगर चोट ऐसे डेली अपनी मैया नहीं चुदाएगा नेट. माँ का थोड़ा इनकी माँ की चूत.
One-shot people at mid to close range. I mean, so PUBG Mobile team, let's take a look at that one again, please.
His DBS doesn't work like mine, I swear. Mine's completely different. They nerfed mine, they haven't nerfed his. It's insane.
Yeah, your DBS so small. His DBS so big.
It's so big, man. Like I just can't handle it.
No,
Wolves. Don't say it like that. Thunder talk.
बड़वा क्या बोल रहा है?
Concretes on the inside. Having a good time, I think.
बड़वा क्या बोल रहा है भाई?
Sent to the wind. Backed off. A 19-point day for Regnum Kaya. Looking closer and closer now.
मैंने भड़वा नहीं बोला, भैया बोला है, समझ रहे हो?
You are currently not in last place.
भैया means brother.
Somehow won by Alpha Gaming. What can Ulf do?
Yeah, well, I mean, 25 points. It's not a bad finish of the day, and especially for North America. All right, you know, Hot Jukes was joking. I actually don't know if he was joking at the start of the day.
Very dodgy guy.
So big is his number one pick, but I think this is a significant improvement for North America.
Yeah, not last place.
Yeah. I mean, Alpha Gaming's last place, which is also an insane statement to make. Oh, Ulf is. Never mind. Yeah. How is Ulf last place?
Alpha खत्म है, ठीक है.
No, they're both
Alpha खत्म है. DX है और VP है guys, ठीक है. पीछे GS बोल देखते हैं भाई.
I have no idea.
TT भाई अभी भी 60 points लेके top पे बैठी है भाई.
11 elims and 1 placement, which is why they're losing the tiebreaker right now. But if they get one more point, they just win it.
Yes.
APG got 1 point out of their fight. In the meantime, GS and DRX up on the ridge side, and DRX having a tough time of things, but it's definitely going to be able to be. It's resable. It's super resable here.
DX 32 भाई, VP भी आ गई. माँ कसम. भाई GS भी है. अगर मतलब DX या VP में से कोई भी जा सकता है तो भाई बोल का और उसका चांस है भाई. और DRX ने अगर चिकन निकाला तो उनका भी चांस हो सकता है भाई. किल्स अच्छे रहे तो.
I mean, great. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm glad to see the DBS not come through once again. No, it was so good before, but you know that is the problem with the DBS at the moment. It's just a little bit inconsistent.
Oh.
Much like DRX right now. As Virtus Pro continue to bully this team. Starting to flow over towards the top side. Voston finding one. Milky Way is down, but Aragon, Malloy, and Moston are still up and available. And could look to clean out this. Jafar is just spraying.
Clean away.
He is just spraying and praying, and it's working.
YVP 34 points. GS 33 से. Oh यार.
On the northeast side, they'll move up to this ridge line.
अगर पर भाई DX के 4 प्लेयर बचे हैं. भाई.
Closer to the center of the circle.
GS भाई बहुत गंदे मोमेंट पे भी वाइप आउट हुआ है भाई.
See what they're getting up to in the future. OG being very careful.
अगर DX यहाँ पे
Wanted to get out of the
पॉइंट्स
zone.
नहीं निकाल पाता है भाई,
Side.
भाई GS की किस्मत बहुत तगड़ी है भाई, बहुत तगड़ी है.
So a bit diminished in terms of firepower this time around. They've got 4 elims already though, so
GS को सिर्फ 2 पॉइंट चाहिए, DX को सिर्फ 2 से 2 कितना 3 पॉइंट चाहिए, ठीक है. नहीं भाई 1 पॉइंट चाहिए, सिर्फ 1 पॉइंट चाहिए उनको 7वां पोजीशन लेने के लिए, समझ रहे हो.
A little bit early, and then you have a case of the rest of the team not knowing where the off angle is in dock, so they just don't want to push it and rather just hold on to 3 players and just get more consistent points for the rest of the day, which I think is fair. I think that is fair. It would have been nicer if Atanki didn't take the buggy with him. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is kind of the big kicker, right? It's you take away one of your vehicles and you give it away to the enemy team, who you probably could have flushed. Maybe that's why they were on the hunt so vehemently to try and close that fight down. With Alpha 7 not making that 40-point mark on this day, with their game closing out on 38. That's not what they wanted to be, but it's still very solid. Oh, DX found a little caltrop in the middle there in the form of the remnants of Kaya, but they will stay alive.
भाई DX ने 7वीं पोजीशन ले ली बे.
There are shots pinging out their way, but for now, it's fine.
Yeah, I think for
DX की फाइट हो गई.
We also got to take into account that
geek से आ गई.
20 some points is from one match today. So although the scoreline doesn't look terrible being in 5th place right now,
अल्फास का तो कब का दी एंड हो गया, बट #5 पे है वो लोग.
That is the bad part of showing for Alpha 7. Virtus.pro, on the other hand, I think they've been able to get their points like consistently throughout the day. They have been not major points, but they've still been consistent points. DX Xavier, similarly, they're going to pull the same old here. And it is nice that we get to talk about DX Xavier in a central position here on Miramar, because I think the Miramar is probably DX Xavier's favorite map. And it is because there is so much more space, so much more room to rotate through, that a lot of times you can make these crazy rotates direct center and get away with it because there's just no sightlines looking at you because the map is just that much bigger. So for DX Xavier, I'm hoping to see a strong game here from them, because especially in open zones as well, DX Xavier favors those types of maps too.
I don't think you can rely on Miramar though. I don't think you can't rely on one specific map in that way. Not in these shorter sets of tournaments. I mean, 18 matches. It does start to get towards average performance stages on 18 matches. But when you're looking, especially towards the last chance, especially towards the very, very quick stages that could really get away from you, it starts to get difficult, man. Like, you just don't have as much opportunity to play consistently. You do need those big games wherever you can take them. So
I do
relying
think
on single maps is not viable.
Yeah, I do think that it's not such a bad thing though, because I think that teams that are good at Miramar are few and far between, whereas teams that are good at Erangel are like a dime a dozen, right? So I think if you're quite good at Miramar and are able to recreate that frequently, that's okay. That's going to get you a lot of points, because it's going to be the amount of teams that win like 3 times in a row on Erangel, it doesn't happen very often. The amount of teams that get top 3 times in a row on Erangel, that doesn't happen.
जोन तो सबने लेके रखा है बे.
Constantly changing.
मतलब यहाँ पे 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 टीमें जोन के एज पे खेल रही हैं. जोन बन गया भाई अपने पे, बहुत हार्ड.
Yeah, I think especially when if you're talking about beating bubbles, right? That's where I think that's definitely very impactful, right? Where you're talking about, as you say, getting top 3 in 2 Miramars a day. That may be enough to just get you to 7th place, kind of off the back of whatever you can get from the rest of the matches, even if you're sort of an average performer there. So yeah, absolutely. I think when it comes to talking about a top team, though, it is a big worry if you can't perform at that same level on all of your maps, because if you want to be a world champion, you do need to have that sort of credential in your back pocket. It's not about getting 7th, getting 4th anymore. It's about getting 1st.
I mean, you say that, but Alpha 7 kind of won PMWC purely off Miramar.
एक HP हो गया वो ये वाला.
There's always exceptions.
But भाई GS के लिए बहुत बुरा लगा भाई.
Sure. The arena
Well, they
seems to
were
be
getting
delivering
30
points.
points, but yeah, anyway, we'll carry on. We'll have a discussion of another day.
If you get 45.
और ULF के 2 नॉक है भाई. डालो ना push.
Making it real difficult for the arena right now. They are down to 1. Maybe able to get a res and back up.
भाई मैड ने थर्ड पार्टी मार दी क्या?
As well as the Mad Bulls want more. All right, they started very strong.
तो जी नाइस यार क्या बात है बहुत बढ़िया.
Now as well, and it looks like they're not going to have to. They're not going to have too much.
भाई साहब TTR मैड में वाह कसम क्या चल रहा है भाई ये. 61 and 63 भाई.
Back into the back of the buggy. Not going to find it though. Mori gets out of there for R8. Last player to stay.
R8.
Mori dipping off into the distance.
भाई geek ने knock डाला.
With this one too much longer. We're already down to 10 teams, 34 players as well. Surprisingly. This is quite a quick game. 20 minutes though on the clock, and with such a open field around us, yeah, it sort of makes sense that we are going to have a pretty rough end game for a lot of teams. Amori spots over towards.
Whoa!
To get some high ground performance. Wolves getting ripped to pieces. Sorry, DX Xavier getting ripped to pieces by Scarface alongside with Ketch. DX Xavier down to the 3.
By DX.
Like they sent in the porcupine, they were just getting shredded.
I mean,
the buggy का टायर फटा हुआ है R8 का.
Players as well. They didn't send the backlines in. The first wave did damage. There's an opening there, but the healing is going to be coming through. I don't think Ulfa going to move though.
गया R8 गया खत्म है एक गोली और कनेक्ट हुई और वो खत्म है.
I mean, he's got literally no tires on the buggy.
Oh.
He's drifting like an ice skate.
भाई सेफ हो गया बच गया.
I don't know what. Yeah, just shoot the grenade out the air. That's how you do it.
He's got no meds.
Healing नहीं है क्या इसके पास?
I really wasn't entirely sure what the plan was there. Like make the most noise possible in the slowest vehicle available. Is that what we were trying to accomplish there?
What the hell, man? But भाई ये रिच ले सकते हैं. रिच ले सकते हैं भाई ये. अगर ये रिच लेते हैं तो मजा आ जाएगा भाई.
And you can sort of play out this game in tandem between.
अगर ये बंदे ये रिच कहाँ गया अभी मैं?
I don't see players in PUBG Mobile do this enough. Is that you can play this position as basically neighbors, and you help each other until the end, and then you must battle. But you guaranteed second.
Yeah, I mean that might be enough for this stage certainly. PK taking shots out towards the forward point of Virtus Pro. As they are 2 and 2 right now. Or actually, no, hang on a minute. Are they? Yeah, they're just 1 and 2. As Malloy is on his lonesome out there. Does have that foothold though, closer to the circle than either of these two other teams, and one of them is going to have to move first. We'll see who it is. Mad Bulls might actually try and backfill this. We've seen crazier things today. That's a big opener as Aragorn take it down very, very low, but survives. Ragnarok trying to break forwards. I wonder if Malloy is going to be able to stop this one from doing too much damage. It's going to be Voston though. Ever on the swivel, doing work, doing bits for him. Zed, next up on the road to go down, and that will be Malloy to take that one. Yiki are sending out 1 by 1. It is not ideal. Certainly not the best way to do things.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Aragon still taking shots over the top here. Virtus Pro, again, quite a messy team, but there is a method to the madness with VP. And that is undeniable at this point.
OG wipe हो गई. What the fuck, bhai?
OG on the western side. To little to no resistance. And Kara happy to have the points from the bottom of the tables.
They'll do the trick for now. I mean, definitely need to get more points on the board, but I think if you're able to get like 20, 25 points, you're at least able to like there's potential to bring that scoreline back up. Because although I say for Mad Bulls you're able to end the day with 70 points all but settled, there is that outside chance that tomorrow and the day after Mad Bulls get 0 points both days. So what I can do now now, regardless of what position you're in, it's only going to give you a little bit more for the next few days. So if this is hurrah for today for karo, you know, you could even set yourself up with 30 plus points if you were to get a chicken dinner here.
ए फटा
Ball from Karo's position as well. It's going to be difficult though. Red Talk, who at the top of the tables, they've already got 6 elims, 4 players, all alive, max HP. I mean, that's going to be a difficult challenge to take them down. The question is, will Thunder Talk have to leave? Because Karo have got the outside track, right? They've got that outside track. The ridge lines that they hold. Really nice.
Ball और TTK the players है अभी.
They have some man talk with that terrain to play around.
27 points.
As sparse they may be, to muck around with. Ulf, I think, taking shots up to the north, though. That's going to make it trickier, but Ulf have to move with that circle pop.
क्या यहाँ whole chicken मारेगी?
See, Koos is playing the building on the north side. It's like he was listening to the stream or something. I don't know.
अपने इंडिया के 43 पॉइंट्स है गाइस. मुझे तो इनफ लग रहे हैं क्वालीफाई के लिए.
Yeah, I think they're going to regroup back on Coops now though, which is the smart decision. Leave 2 players down below. Just take shots at Virtus Pro as they attempt to leave. But you're accelerating the game now massively with this circle shift. Towards the dead center of this circle is just this small hilltop you can see right here in front of the map balls, which is very, very difficult to play around. But you can at least isolate some fights in terms of the sidelines. That's as best as it's going to give you. But it still, again, is going to be pretty open pitch warfare.
At the moment, I'm looking at where that 7th place is going to end up blank. And Virtus Pro, they're already, I believe, going to be jumping up to at least level with Alpha 7 on a tiebreaker with a placement point they have yet to technically earn on this match. Despite being guaranteed at least 1. If they can survive a little bit longer, that could go up.
भाई अगर whole chicken मारता है ना,
maybe.
तो DX भी बाहर हो जाएगा.
Looking for and get over Alpha 7. DX Xavier actually in with a decent shout of getting quite far into this one. Even if it's a tough time, Eren for Ulf. Last to stand, drops the smoke, but no more Mad Bulls to actually worry about on the run out. The blue zone, though, that's a bit more of a worry. See the damage it's doing. Goodness me. Grenade actually coming from Mad from Virtus.
Mad का मेरे को लग रहा है यहाँ पे पूरा वाइप आउट होने वाला है.
Pick up that point here and now.
Okay. Let's see what they get done off the back of VP's push out, but pretty good. Takes down Flip at least. But Wolves is still getting more points off the back of this one, and teams are parting ways with their players. Left, right, and center. That's a nice nade. Little bit short on the pitch.
Mad pusher अभी है भाई.
Spotted. Not too sure who that's from, but I think it's the Wolves.
Last बचा है वो.
Virtus Pro. You can see they will get locked in at 13.
ले मेरे को लग रहा है.
Alpha 7 now, potentially at risk of dropping out, but very unlikely here. Unless
भाई VP 39 पॉइंट पे था, बहुत बढ़िया. DX वोल भी 31 पॉइंट कर लिया. भाई इनकी तो आशा भी जिंदा है बे वोल की. भाई DX में को कब से देख रहा हूँ, कब से उधरी है भाई.
And again, you know, getting themselves a nice shot from Parajan. I mean, that is a very, very difficult angle to make work, but that's going to delay in a nasty way as well, John.
Definitely difficult terrain to be moving through now. Kara, CEO looking to heal before the move. They don't have a lot of time because the zone's going to start to close in 3 seconds. Poser's ankles have been spotted. He's dodging out the way and he's sprayed out. They aren't quite connecting with it in any.
भाई पुश डाल दिया उन्होंने, पुश डाल दिया उन्होंने. वाह कसम क्या पुश डाला है उन्होंने. ओ नाइस. लास्ट. ओ नहीं. भाई नेट पे नेट कर रहे हो. DX. भाई DX का पूरा वाइप आउट कर दिया भाई DX को पूरा. क्या पुश डाला बे इन्होंने.
I mean, Wolves just getting a lot done off the back of this, but Kara, 7 elims on the game, up towards a top 3. That is a really big result for them. Not quite the chicken dinner that maybe they were hoping for, but it's still very, very good. Thunder Talk looking for the 2nd chicken dinner of the day. The Chinese team who came in today looking fantastically strong with some very good coordination. Now looking to drop down a shower of thunder upon the Wolves.
टीटी क्या खेल
See
रही
if
है?
they can convert. Really solidify themselves at the top of the tables. The Mad Bulls wanting to get pushed aside here with Thunder Talk already claiming enough points to surpass them. How much further can they go to lock in their top spot? Kara as well looking to finish their day on a high after a lack of point scoring so far. They'll want a little bit more. And the Wolves, they've been fairly middling today. An entrant from every angle of the tables to close us down.
भाई नेड
They know towards the walls now.
भाई
Kara,
कौन लेके जाएगा चिकन?
still
तीन टीमें बची है भाई, टीटी है, बोल है और कारा। कारा के 2 है और बोल और टीटी के उतने हैं। अगर कारा यहाँ चारों किल्स और चिकन लेके जाती है भाई, बट भाई इम्पॉसिबल चीज है, वही चीज है भाई। कारा कारा एलिमिनेट हो गई है, लास्ट 4v4 बचा है। वो 4v2 हो गया भाई ये। माँ कसम, क्या भाई, क्या ये कर रहे भाई? What the fuck भाई?
Looks to give them a good fight, but no, Thunder Talk too much. As the Wolves fall at the final hurdle, they can't keep it going, and it will be
भाई क्या मारा बे टीटी ने?
found for the team from the PEL.
Thunder Talk, just an incredible team today. And I mean, that started off with sightings 180 on the Pompey. Extremely fun stuff. And I mean, holding the heart just a little bit there because it did get hectic towards the end. It's going to get a little bit more hectic with some interviews later in terms of what went down today. But before then, we're going to head to a quick break and we'll be back shortly.
क्वालिफाई हो गए भाई। टीटी अजय, थंडर टॉक गेमिंग, टीटी किंग, टीटी जिंग। भाई 2 चिकन मारे भाई बैक टू बैक। बैक टू बैक 2 चिकन गए, वो भी पीएमजीसी ग्लोबल चैंपियनशिप में। चलो गाइस, आज के लिए बस इतना ही था। चारों मैच, 6 मैचेस अपन ने कवर किए। बाकी देखते हैं अभी क्या क्या करना चाहिए, क्या नहीं। कॉपीराइट आएगा कि नहीं आएगा पता नहीं मुझे, देखते हैं फिर। चलो बाय बाय, टेक केयर ऑल ऑफ यू गाइस, टेक केयर ऑल ऑफ यू। मिलते हैं फिर। मेरा सेटअप थोड़ा सही नहीं है, अब सेटअप सही करने के चक्कर में मैं स्ट्रीम वगैरह तो वो नहीं कर